We're live. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. Welcome to the Claret and Booze Up, and praise the Lord, the international break's over, innit? And we've finally got some football to talk about. That was. Well, I say it was hard work last week. It actually turned into quite a fun show, didn't it? We've done that sort of QA thing, but it's easier when there's football to talk about. But look, as you all know, John was due to be joining us tonight. He is back at full speed now. He's recovered from his op. But unfortunately, it's his brother's 50th birthday tonight. So he's going to be back tomorrow evening for the hangover show. Hopefully, in a good mood after a win. Happy birthday, Mark! By the way. Tonight we are joined by a familiar face, Danny Martinez. How are you, mate?
On top of the world, not looking down.
Good. And new to the show, but a familiar face to many, Frankie. How are you, mate? Thanks for joining us.
Very well, gents. Thank you for having me on. Looking forward to it.
That's good. Just to give you all a bit of a heads up, if you don't know, if you haven't seen Frankie, Frankie has done a lot of fundraising work to raise money for Isla. They had a Facebook channel with Frankie and Baz Cox, not Marshy. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the story now. I bumped into Baz Cox once, and that was at the Southampton game this year, Frankie. And I came up the wrong. I was pissed. We'd been out all day. I came up the wrong set of stairs, and I saw Baz. Knew who he was. Said, "Wow, Marshy." He went, "No, I'm not Marshy."
No, did you? Wow.
Yeah. I knew he was. I just got it wrong. But yeah, so it was Claret and Blue Army, wasn't it, Frankie? That channel.
Yeah, Claret and Blue Army TV was the channel. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to give you all a bit of insight into Frankie, and last by no means least, we've got Gary. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just looking forward to getting back to a bit of normality tomorrow. Get over to that London Stadium. Welcome Fat Frank back.
Yeah, I must admit I am feeling confident, which ain't always a good thing, to be honest. Look, I'll quickly run you through the agenda for today's show. We're going to be speculating between us as to how we think that the Premier League is, because we're on the home straight now. How we think that it's going to finish up at the top and the bottom. Who's going to get the European qualification spots, and who do we think is going to get relegated? And we'll also have a little chat. How far do we think we're going to go in the Europa League, for instance? Just a brief discussion on that, and then we're going to move on to yesterday's feature, breaking news stories. And like I say, it's a rumor. It's not confirmed, but it has come from a very good source, and that is around the rumored 20% season ticket increase that the club are apparently discussing. We don't know whether that's going to be dependent on, the European qualification or not. We just don't know. So we'll have a little chat about that as well. And then Gary's going to run us through some of the big news stories from the week, and then we're going to look ahead to the big game at the weekend, and then we'll close as usual with the Premier League predictor. It's been a few interesting games today, haven't there? And didn't Chelsea got spanked, didn't they?
Chelsea got stuffed, didn't they? And it's Christian Eriksen's first competitive goal back in football, isn't it? And so great for him. But yeah, imagine being Brentford and going and winning 4-1 at the Bridge. That's a fantastic.
What are Brentford playing at? What do they think they're doing?
Taking the piss.
Taking the piss.
Yeah.
Taking the piss. But look, anyway, let's start with this little section just to get us going. So we are going to talk about the Premier League. So, like I say, we're on the home straight now. Let's look at I'm going to throw the table up quickly. So we'll forget Man City, even though Chelsea lost today. We'll forget them. Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. They're all top four. Out of who do you think's in? We go to Frankie. Frankie, who do you think are the teams that are challenging for that top four? Do you think Tottenham do you think it is going to be Arsenal's, or do you think Tottenham are in with a shout?
I really still don't rate Tottenham, and I know they've sort of had a little mini resurgence at the moment, but they're just not for me, mate. I think they're so defensive. I don't really like the style of football they're playing at the moment. But then again, I don't particularly think Arsenal are fantastic either. They're grinding out results left, right, and centre. But I think out of the two, I think Arsenal are clear, to be honest. And
you think Arsenal? Do you think Man U are in with a shout?
No, I actually think Man U could lose out in that top 7 between us and Wolves. Watching them today, they were absolutely toilet. They were useless.
They are consistently shit, aren't they?
They are. And VAR's dug them out of that today, and refereeing decisions has dug them out of that. And Leicester, I felt it was a bit harsh. I was watching one of the Man United run football YouTube channels at the end of the game just to. I love the bias that they have, and they always think they're going to do so much better than us, and we're not. They don't even talk about West Ham in that top 6, top 7. Don't even mention us, and it winds me right up.
Good.
But I watch it just to get wound up. So and I'm sitting there watching it, and they're saying now, Leicester in such poor form, lack of confidence. I know they haven't been the Leicester of old, but I don't think they've been that bad. I don't think they're a total write-off.
They had terrible injuries at the start of the season, didn't they, Leicester?
Yeah.
They really didn't. Fofana, he broke his leg, didn't he? Like early on,
bad injury,
yeah. So they've had a few. So I think defensively they struggled. Look, I think they're a little bit similar to us in the sense that they've got a great first team, but perhaps they lack that bit of depth. And you're going to find that with teams outside
but
the.
Even that. Six. Have they got that good a first team? I'm not convinced. I'll go through that starting 11.
Who's that? Leicester.
Oh, sorry, no, United. Sorry,
no, not the United. They're a basket case.
Yeah, but again, they write every single player off on these channels, and then they turn around and go, "But we have got a squad that could compete against any other team in Europe." And I sit down and go, "Do you really think that squad is as good as you all make out?" I think it's pretty poor all over the park. I think across central midfield and the defence is really not up to standard compared to City's and Liverpool's and the other teams. So there's nothing that would please me more than us to go and grab 6th or 7th, Wolves to get in there, and United to drop out of it. It would be fantastic.
It would be amazing. So, okay. So are we all agreed? Danny and I pretty much agree with that. I think Arsenal are I think they're good value for 4th spot. I think they'll grab that. Are we sort of in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, let's
looking scarier than they did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to the Europa League place and the Conference League. Are Wolves still in the race? Do you reckon? I know they are in the table. Do you think they've got what it takes to kind of sort of mount a challenge for that top 6? I mean, look, we're not out. There's no way we're out of it. I mean, the only thing that we've got that the other teams haven't got is these European games. And hopefully, that will continue through to the end of the season. But Danny, what do you think? Who do you fancy? Sort of looking at the you might not have looked at the run-ins from all the teams, but sort of going on recent form, who do you fancy to grab 5th and 6th place?
I still don't see 5th place as unobtainable. I don't think we need any sort of miracle to get that. We're going to need a little bit of help with getting Bowen, getting Soufal back to speed. Hopefully Lanzini's okay. Don't know much about how his recovery is going. I think Moyes said that he was just a little sore. But we're going to need some help in having those guys healthy. If we've got a full squad, or as full a squad as we can have in these last 8 Premier League games, we have as good a chance as anybody to finish 4th. I don't even see that being as a stretch. There's still plenty of football left. Plenty can happen. Anybody that's in that mix, really in that top 8, it has a chance.
Well, 4th is kind of adequate. We've given 4th to Arsenal. So who are we going to say 5th and 6th?
Oh, that's us then.
You think?
Yes, I could see Tottenham finishing 6th. I don't know if Wolves will be able to sustain any sort of success that get them into that 6th spot. I'm not sure.
No. Okay, that's fine. Gary, what are your thoughts on that? What do you reckon about the top 6?
Well, look, I think Arsenal will finish 4th. I don't think Tottenham are in the same class as Arsenal. Arsenal have got a little bit of consistency. Tottenham haven't. They beat us the other week, but we know that we were in a bad way that day, and even so, even though we were in a bad way, we still could have got something and should have got something out of that game had Antonio finished a little bit better. So it was a poor performance from us. They really only just beat us and finished the game off right at the end, didn't they? So I don't think I'm with Frankie on this one. I don't really rate Spurs that much. Man United, I don't rate them at all. Wolves, I think they're a decent side, but beatable. I don't think they're going to fly through. You can see from their recent form, a couple of losses. They're very strong at home. If they get a nice, comfortable home game like they did today against Villa, they'll win it. So they're very reliable home form. But I think this is in our hands. It's completely in our hands. And I think that if I was to guess, I'd say 4th Arsenal, 5th Tottenham, 6th. I would go probably us.
Yeah.
And I'd go 7th Wolves and 8th Man United. I'm going to have Man United finishing 8th.
I think out of that sort of little, because it is a mini league now. That top 8,
4 teams.
I think Man U are going to finish bottom of that mini league, even with all the help they get from VAR and the rest. They are the worst performing team in terms of their match day performances. They're shocking, you know. And it's do you know what? It's unforgivable when you look at the players that they've got. I mean, yeah, fair enough. As Frankie said, when you look at their 11 at the moment, it don't look great. But we all saw how good these players are. By Jesse Lingard was an example. You take a backup player from a team like Man United and you put him in a West Ham team. You know, they have got fantastic players. They just have. I just think it's bizarre. It's got to be an ego thing. I reckon they've got too many. They've got too many big names.
I'll tell you what, it's a club where good players go to die, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just so many careers have just gone to nothing at Man United because they buy quantity rather than buying quality in line with a strategy. You know, they seem to just why the hell did they go and buy Cristiano Ronaldo? They had a wealth of different players up there. They had the other guy as well, with the long hair and the Alice.
Well, that was a commercial decision, wasn't it? That was a club buying Ronaldo. That weren't the manager. I don't think that was.
And that is the reason why Man United are in the shtuck that they're in, because they're focused only on it's just a business, right? They want to qualify for the Champions League every year. If they get that, then they're happy. They're not interested in doing anything the fans really want.
Running it like a theme park.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about American owners later, Danny. You'll like that section.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So we've got 5th and 6th. So I'll leave it to Frankie. So we've gone Tottenham and West Ham for those 5th and 6th spots. Who's going to finish higher, West Ham or Tottenham?
It's hard for me to comment.
Trying to be unbiased.
It's really hard for me to comment because you've put it on me there a little bit, because I don't think it is as in our hands as what people make out. I think, we are the side.
I'm with you.
We're 8th. Tomorrow is massive.
Yeah.
So, and I know Lyon's big, and obviously we all know that European games are huge. We saw that against Seville. But if you want European football again, which is what I want for West Ham, is consecutive years of European football, tomorrow is such a big game. And it is the game that West Ham would typically in the past go and lose. So we're going to get a real good insight to how far we've come tomorrow. And if that kind of West Ham way that we used to have of turning a corner, then bumping up the curb and hitting a tree, whether that's sort of gone now, or whether, we can try and start kicking on and showing that we have gone to that next level. So yeah,
I think the only good thing is Everton did win their last game. They scraped past Newcastle, so it's not like they're on. I know what you mean. Like if a team's desperate for a win, enter West Ham, that type of thing.
And that's it. A team could go
weeks
without winning a game, and then West Ham turn up, and there you go.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually realise until looking at that table then when you put it up how big that draw was for us today between Leicester and Man United, because Leicester 2 games in hand, you didn't want them getting 3 points there today.
Nope,
no. And you didn't want Man United pulling away. So actually that draw was a fantastic result for us. And
it's a blessing both of them dropping points.
Absolutely.
That was really good. It's difficult for me because I'm not sure we do make that top 6. You've kind of decided we are there. If we're going to say we're there, it's 6th. We're no chance of getting 5th.
No. Well, the thing is, when you look at the European games, which the other teams above us also haven't got, they haven't got that. All they've got now is a Premier League to focus on.
Yeah.
So Arsenal, Man United, Wolves, Tottenham, they haven't got the weight of the European games, but. I don't know. I still think anything could happen. As we've seen, there's been some bizarre results. All of those teams are kind of in between, sort of that 4 between 5th and 8th. I think they've been inconsistent this year. They're all capable of dropping points, the same as we might. So I don't think it's out of the question. I think we could. But I am with you in the sense that it's probably unlikely, if I'm honest.
I think the heat is kind of off us now, right? Because that mini league exists. That 5th to 8th place, that is a mini league. Yeah. Spurs have got maybe a chance of creeping into the Champions League. It ain't going to happen. But the good thing about us is the lowest we can finish now is 8th. You got Villa and Southampton below. Their form is woefully inconsistent. So the lowest we can finish is 8th, which is still a good season, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
so we get from here is a bonus. So the one thing, you say it would be typical West Ham, Frankie, to turn up against Everton and lose. Yes, it would. but also Everton are historically one of our biggest bogey clubs as well, right? I looked at the past results the other day, and there was one period we went for something like 10 years without beating them.
Yeah, this is a bit of a different Everton, though, isn't it? This is.
Yeah.
This is
unrecognizable. This Everton, unbelievable what they've come to.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, like Everton are weird. Like I said it the other day on my little morning news show that I did. I did a little mini Everton preview, and if you look at it, with Everton, they spent that crazy transfer window we had, where we spent 100 million on mediocre players effectively. It seems like Everton do that every season, or they did it for every season for about 6 windows. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. They're a batshit crazy team. Now was recruiting different managers with different styles. I think they've just got a collection of misfits in that team. I don't think it's any of the managers. I'm not even blaming Frank Lampard for this mess. I mean, I will blame him for adding someone like Dele Alli into the mix. I mean, what is that all about? You've already got some strange players. Why would you introduce him?
It sells tickets. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a bit odd. It's a bit odd.
Tickets.
No, right. Well, let's wrap this one up anyway. Let's have a bit of fun. Who's getting relegated? So let's go to Danny. Go for the bottom 2, Danny. Who do you think is going to get relegated?
So, obviously Norwich are shit, so they're going to go down.
Yeah,
they have no chance. You know what? As it stands right now, those are probably the 3 that are going to go down. I think Everton will ultimately do just enough to stay up. Leeds, I don't see them going down. I mean, really, between those bottom 4, the bottom 3 as it looks is probably how things are going to look after 38 games.
Well, I'm not
That's
sure.
What I would think.
I'm not sure, but yeah, but I mean, look. I think Everton are going to drop.
Oh shit! I didn't see that they had those games in hands. No, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I think Everton are going to drop. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Frankie?
No, I think it'll be as it is there, and I think that's right. Yeah, only. Do you know what? Every time I talk about relegation, I look at clubs and who I actually want to see in the Premier League because they're good football clubs.
Yeah,
I'm glad Leeds have got out of it.
Yeah,
because Leeds are a fantastic club, brilliant away day. I think Everton is still a brilliant club, mate, and I don't really want to see them go down. Watford, Tin Pot Club, terrible stadium, hate going there, even though it's only up the road. Burnley deserve to be where they are after the way they've behaved the past few years. It was always going to come to this in the end. And Norwich never do enough to keep themselves up. So they're all the 3 that deserve to go, and that's how I'd like it to stay.
Gary, what do you reckon?
Well, look, I'd like revenge for 1985-86 on Everton. And I'd like revenge on Frank Lampard as well. So call me petty, but I'd love to see Everton get relegated only for a season, just to teach them a lesson. They can get relegated. Everyone can get relegated. I'd love to have Frankie to have that on his CV as well. Frankie Lampard.
Frank Lampard, yeah.
So that would be that would be a massive achievement. And when you look at their run-in, I think if we beat them tomorrow.
They've got to play Burnley in 3 days.
Yeah, if we beat them tomorrow, they're going to find themselves looking over their shoulder a little bit.
No, but now their running goes, Frankie. Right, their running goes. They've got to play us tomorrow away. 3 days later, they've got to play Burnley away. Now that ain't easy. That's a 6-pointer. 3 days later, they're going to Man United, and then after that, they've got Chelsea, they've got Arsenal, they've got Liverpool, they've got Leicester twice. It is a bastard running that they've got. It ain't good. It really ain't good. So
it would be work cut out for them. I would like to see Everton go down, despite
I would
despite the stature of the club. Is if for nothing else, then at least so we can try and gut their roster and try and get somebody, because they're going to be a selling club if they go down.
I don't hate them, but it would be mildly amusing for them to go down. They'll be straight back. They'll come straight back,
especially since Newcastle aren't going to go down. That would have been the team I wanted to go down the most.
Of course,
absolutely. Okay, and finally, let's close with the Europa League. That's the only other competition that we're in. So I'm going to go to Danny. How far do you see West Ham? Take your West Ham hat off. Think logically. Look at who we've got to play. We could potentially have Frankfurt or Barcelona next, and there's some interesting teams in the other side of the draw as well. How far would you, first of all, be happy with us going, and how far do you actually see us going?
I would be happy if we get past Lyon. They're, especially given how they're doing right now, they're really struggling domestically.
Yep.
But, anything can happen in these games, especially when you go against opposition that lines up completely different from the rest of the competition that you face domestically. I would be ecstatic if we move on and if we at least give Barcelona or Frankfurt a run for their money and we go down swinging, then we go down. And I don't know if I would be happy, but I guess I would be satisfied to at least see a team with the lack of depth that we have to make it that far. It'd be nothing short of remarkable for David Moyes to get such a small squad with such a tight rotation that he likes to run to get this far. Yeah. If I'm going silly sauce, I'm saying, no, we're winning the whole fucking thing. We're going to lift the trophy. But, realistically, I don't know if that's going to happen. I would love.
We've got a good chance, but I'm with you. I would be happy if we just get past Lyon and have a day out in Barcelona. A day at the Nou Camp. That'd be amazing. That would feel like a cup final in itself.
That would, imagine that would feel like you've really made it. You're playing one of the most historic clubs on the planet.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. And that's what it's all about. I mean, I'd love a trophy, but it's also about memories and kind of these special occasions. And we've had a few, haven't we? We've had a few this year. We certainly had one with the Sevilla night and stuff like that. So, but anyway, same question goes to you, Frankie. What do you reckon? How far do you think we'll go? Can you see us going in the Europa League?
I think Lyon is the first time that we've truly got to see if we're made of the right stuff for the Europa League. I think Seville, I think we went away there. We sort of managed to cling on to the 1-0 in that second half. We come back to there and the crowd done everything for that team. I think obviously David Moyes still done a brilliant job and tactically we were brilliant and the players were right up for it. But, this is a different story now. How do you play that first leg? Even I can't decide whether we got to try and kill the game off, whether you got to try and keep it nice and tight and have something to cling on to when you go over there. And then they're going to make as much noise as we did at the London Stadium when we go to that away leg. And it's going to be blooming tough. Barcelona in the next round is going to be incredibly difficult. I think Leipzig look like a fantastic team. But even with all of that, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that West Ham United win the Europa League this season. So,
really? Are you confident?
100%. And I'll tell you why.
I love it, Frankie.
And this is going to sound right muggy, like I'm a little school kid, but I don't care this out anyway. My old man, right, he gets gut feelings. And the first time I remember it is when we went to Old Trafford when I was a little boy. And Di Canio scored the winner up there. And he knew that day we were going to win. He calls it time and time again. At half time, when we was 2-0 down against Tottenham at Wembley, he went, we're getting down the front here because we're going to beat this mob. And I was like, we're 2-0 down. It's over. I was ready to go home. But he was like, no, come on, get down there. We're going to win this. When he gets that stuff in his feels, he's very, very rarely wrong. And he said, even before the group stage started, he went, book your tickets to Seville. I don't know if we're going to win it, but we will be in the final. And he said it all the way through, the whole way. And even when we drew Seville, he said, look, this is done. He said, this is already finished. We are going to that final. We will be there in May, 100%. And I believe him. And mate, it's happening. We're going to be in the final anyway.
You're giving me goosebumps.
We're going to be there. I'm telling you. We're going to be there. We are going to be there in that final.
And do you know what? If we do that, and that's the thing, if we do that, the league finish is irrelevant anyway, because we're going to be we'll be in the Champions League next year. So, I mean, I'll tell you what. Here's a question for you, Frankie. What do you prioritise at this point? Do you prioritise Europa League or the league? If you have to, if you've got a struggling squad, what do you do?
Head is league still. Because
really?
Yeah, my head still says that. I just think.
So you would sacrifice? You'd sacrifice a semi-final?
No way.
I think it's a big roll of the dice to try and win that competition, as opposed to try and nick 7th spot. I think that to take that is a massive gamble. Whereas I think 7th and getting 7th is a much easier. And I know some people would say, but Conference League do you really want that? I just want consecutive seasons of European football. But heart says just go and make this dream happen, because I know 100% we get Barcelona. I know we beat them. Because we will turn up, we'll get in their faces. They won't like what we've got to offer. And all this little mini resurgence they've got when they're doing that tippy-tappy football out in Spain, we'd get right into them and they won't like it.
Mate, it's like Sevilla. And do you know what? Gerrard said it after we played Villa. We beat teams up. We're a really physical team.
Fornals was speaking to his mates, some of the Sevilla players after the game, and they were astounded. They said, It was 120 minutes and you're still running. What are you doing?
I know.
They didn't get it. They didn't get it.
The best bit of that game. The best bit of that game was En-Nesyri, where En-Nesyri got poleaxed first of all by Zuma. Then Rice was first. Rice done him first. Then Zuma, and Dawson done him twice, didn't he?
Oh,
he
yeah.
Just
he
came
was
straight
for
through
a yellow card, wasn't he?
He was
for a yellow card.
Proper sulking, sitting on the floor.
I don't think he's going to want to come here now. En-Nesyri.
But you know what? If you was an opposition player, looking at our team and the togetherness and the way that we are, and I tell you what, En-Nesyri that night, he must have been looking around thinking, "Fuck me, this is a bit special, wasn't it?"
Yeah.
We was a proper team that night, weren't we?
Well, that's what beautiful. I thought as well. I thought if you want, could there be a better sort of reference, the atmosphere inside that stadium that night, it was cooking, it was hot, it was the best it's ever been. That stadium is built for massive occasions like that, and En-Nesyri must have been impressed. He must have been impressed. If we want to go back in for him, I'd say we have a chance of getting him.
Yeah. Well, Moyes will. Like I say, I mean, we ain't going to do no transfer rumours tonight, but I think Moyes, he's not going to start from the drawing board again. I think he'll go back in for players that he's tried to sign before, and I think rightly so. You know why? Yeah, just because players weren't willing to move in January, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same afterwards. I'm just going to change that colour. So
I'll just go for a couple of comments quickly.
Yeah, go on.
By the way, I agree with Frankie. I think we're going to win it, but I think it's going to be Lyon, Frankfurt, a repeat of the 1975-76 Cup Winners' Cup semi-final, and then a final against Rangers.
I'll tell you, Frankfurt is going to be fiery. Do you know what? I'm not advocating fan violence, but I can see there being some revenge.
It'll be very tasty. Right, okay. On to a few comments. Black Country Hammer says, I don't care as long as we finish above Spurs.
I'm with you, Black Country.
Absolutely. Burnley will never go down. I think
Paul, this guy underneath also. A minute ago, he had asked he'd love to see what the table would look like without VAR.
Oh, yeah. Well,
we would still be sitting in 7th.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
We would still be sitting right where we are.
I did this thing a few weeks ago, which actually showed that West Ham gained the most from VAR all season. I know it was a few weeks ago now. But
yes. Earlier in the season, that would have made a difference as far as table. But as recently as yesterday, without VAR, we would still be sitting in 7th place.
That's right. Message for Frankie. So Frankie's very unbiased, isn't he? Didn't you get the memo, Frankie?
I'll corrupt him. Don't you worry, Claire.
Yeah. Trudge says, I'll prefer Burnley to survive over Everton. Me too, Trudge. Everton's running is tough. Yes. Paul Merson has us winning. I'm with him. Yes. Well, Paul Merson's not right about much, but he's right about that. We have to get a 2-goal lead. Yeah. I don't know.
That's right. The first leg is at home, isn't it?
Yeah. If we progress to the semi, then we go for Europe. Yeah, that's the question about what we do. What do we prioritize? I mean, look, I'd throw all my chips in Europa League. I've got to be honest, all of them.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Gary. That'd be a hell of a way to qualify for the Champions League, winning the Europa League.
All we need is from now to the end of the season, we need to put in some good performances. We'll pick up a few wins and a few draws, and we'll finish in the top 8, irrespective of what else happens, right? So we ain't going lower than that. Prefer Frankfurt if and when we get through, because the smaller badge won't affect our lot. No, and that's the thing. If we play Barcelona, people are going to get a bit starstruck by Barcelona. I don't think we will.
I don't think we will.
No.
Not after seeing what we did with Sevilla. Yeah. I mean, Moyes had those guys. He galvanized that group to play not the occasion, but to play the game, and especially that second leg.
Yeah.
We've got some big, strong, aggressive players. Lining up in the tunnel against Barcelona, they're going to be looking down at these little diminutive Barcelona players. They're going to be thinking, "That's it. I'm going to get into you first."
Dawson.
Yeah. It's going to look like West Ham are walking out their mascots.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
From Sean Freshfielder says, "I saw that Fornell's quote. Yeah, that was a great read. That was. It really was."
Yeah.
And Nesri, hopefully regretting turning us down. Yeah, but he'll be here in the summer. Don't worry about that. Right now, beat Barca says, Nigel,
come on.
Are we drinking?
Nigel,
don't get all negative on us. For Christ's sake.
I'll do a shot for that.
Yeah. Hey, good man.
And Nick Frankie, are you related? Says Amared.
No, that would make us all three brothers on the.
I know.
screen.
You look like brothers. Yeah. I'll tell you what, you are quite similar, actually. You are quite similar.
Good looking chaps.
Good looking blokes. Good looking blokes.
That's it.
Hang on.
Right, that's the end of the comments. What's next, Nick?
Danny's got the arm. Look, now we said that, he's gone off. Yeah. Right. The next one is going to be, we're going to have a quick chat on. Did I do a thumbnail for this? Yeah, I did. Right, John did a news story, breaking news story. Well, look, it's not official news; it is a rumor, but it does come from a very, very good source. I'm not going to say who it is, but apparently, the sort of the murmurings coming out of the club is that they're considering making a 20% increase to season tickets, which is huge. Now, look, I think we all anticipated that a season ticket increase was going to come. We knew that. We knew that was going to happen at some point. But at this moment in time, as John said on his video, it's poor timing. You know, when you look at the cost of everything going up, you know, food, gas, electric, petrol, everything. You know, it's poor. I think. Well, look, it's not poor at the moment because it's not official. But if they were to announce it and they were to implement that, for me, I think it would be a bit unforgivable. I think 20% is a big increase. Yeah, fair enough. One bloke and his kid. Who are currently paying about sort of £4,500. A 20% increase isn't going to be a massive step, but we know people with like 5 and 6 season tickets. You know, that's a big jump. That's a massive jump. You're looking at £1,000, you know, going up. So, what are your thoughts on that, Frankie? Anyway, it
is hard. They've probably been wanting to do it for a couple of seasons, but we ain't been. I think to do it last season when we had that one successful season after a really torrid time, I think would have been a bit of backlash. And I think now they're thinking, look, you've had 2 good seasons in a row now. I think they feel like it's the right timing to do it. It's hard for me because I'm very privileged in that I was very early into the sort of waiting list, and my season ticket cost me £260. 260 quid, a 20% increase. I've got no problem with that. I pay £15 a game for Premier League football. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So from my perspective, I won't feel that.
You pay more than that just to watch it on fucking TV.
Exactly right. It's crazy. So on that basis, you know, I've got no problem. If I went down to my local team, it would cost me more than that for entry. So I've got no issue with that whatsoever. On my side, it's the people who are paying significantly more. I think 20% is a lot. I think, like you said,
what about the timing though? Do you think the timing is?
I think the timing's right in a football sense. I'm not sure the timing's relevant in a you know what's going on in the world sense, but that's not relevant to the football. Like at the end of the day, you know, I run my own business. Business is business, and that's how it is for me. And I'm a little bit stern to that sort of thing. So, it's tough, but I think 20% would be really harsh. I think 20% is massive. At 10%, I'd suffer it and say, you know, fair enough. And that's what they should do. Not reconsider doing it, but reconsider how much they're going to put it up. And if they can just minimize it a little bit, I think we'd appreciate it. And I think we'd accept that and say, you know, fair dues.
Yeah. So you guys being able to go to games, do you think that would be an easier bit of news to swallow if we actually make some new fucking signings?
Well, that's the question. If you did, obviously Frankie doesn't have a problem with it, but if there are going to be people that do, and so the people, like if there's anyone in the chat, if you do think it's unacceptable and you are a season ticket holder and you do think that 20% increase is a bit of a piss take, would you be willing to accept that if it meant more success,
an improved squad?
I'll tell you what. Right? Let's put it simple. Let's put it in a very simple way. I would absorb the 20%. No problem. A lot of people might absorb the 20%, no problem, right?
But some people can't.
I've just had my electric and gas bill go up from 194 a month to almost 500 a month. There must be a lot of people out there who are suffering the same things. Who are in
you didn't get your meter readings in, Gal.
No, but they're in a much less fortunate position than me, right? And unable to absorb this kind of stuff. Now, if you're, you know, you could have been watching West Ham for all these years, had a season ticket every year, struggled to pay your season ticket, and now suddenly all these bills are hitting you at once, including 20% on a season ticket. And I think that's a little bit low. I think the low of the club. I mean, I think it's very high from a rise. I think 10% or slightly less would have been about the right number. Or as someone said in the chat here, maybe in line with inflation, which is currently about 7.5%, 8%, right? So it ain't, you know. Yeah, I hear what you say, Frankie, about they haven't made rise for the last couple of years, but then again, they would have got crucified had they done that, right?
Yeah, they would have. They would have. I mean, the thing is, do you think that the crazy demand for recent game, well, the Sevilla game, the Lyon game, they could have sold those tickets twice over.
Yeah.
Do you think that has kind of made them think a little bit? And also, don't forget, we all know. I think it was Grant Croxford. I haven't got the exact figures, but he responded to a comment on Twitter about this earlier on. And Grant Croxford said he's a Claret member. He's paid. He's on the season ticket waiting list, and he goes more or less every game, and it's cost him a fortune to take him and his son this year. So they make more money that way.
You know what I think it is, and this goes back to, I'm going to mention Nigel in more than just a podcast. Sean, something that Sean mentioned earlier in the season, and that is West Ham year on year are driving down the number of season tickets. So they really don't care if they price some people out and end up with fewer season tickets. No. Because they'll be able to sell them on the day. And now they're slowly getting more and more confident they'll be able to sell them on the day because the team's doing well. The market's there, right? They can charge over the odds for selling tickets on the day, much more than they charge a season ticket holder, right? So I think that is the tactic, if I'm being brutally honest. They don't care about the people who can't afford it. Fuck them. They'll keep the ones who can afford it. And
but I'll tell you what, the pressure. I mean, could you imagine if they were to increase the season tickets by 20%, like we're talking about now? Imagine if they were to do that and then sell Declan Rice.
Well, no, I think
could you imagine that?
They've got to do what Danny said. They've got to do what Danny said. If they're going to put prices up by 20%, then we need massive investment in the team because it's the only thing that's going to keep people happy. You've got to get
business 101.
20%, right?
Yeah.
We're going to charge more for the product that you're wanting to go see. Fine, like we're going to, we're treating it like a business. The product will cost more. Then the product quality better fucking go up too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make a blind bit of difference, does it? Because I don't know what the revenue is, but it's ridiculous how much ticket revenue actually brings in. It's nothing. It's irrelevant, really.
Yeah.
So in that basis, it don't change. It won't even buy you another Craig Dawson, let alone anything else, by this increase. So
no, exactly.
There's not enough money that can buy another Craig Dawson.
No,
they don't just grow on trees.
He's a little legend, isn't he? Well, Gary, do you want to run through the comments on that anyway?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, one more question on you and Frankie. Hammerhead said you look like brothers, and Nigel said you eat the same food. That's out of order.
That's harsh.
Right,
that's harsh, Nigel.
We've got a new American.
Oh, nice.
You are from Auburn, Alabama.
Warrior, right?
Hello, Lawrence.
Body Hammer, 20% would be ridiculous, but our ticks among they are amongst the cheapest in the league. And exactly what Frankie just said, we get minimal revenue in from the ticket sales. I gotta be honest, if I was running the business, getting them out there earlier and building the market and then charging more for them over a period of time is the right thing to do. But 20% ramp is probably a little bit too much, that's all. Right. What band is 260? So 260.
That, I'll answer. I'll get that for everybody because they're obviously having a little snipe there. But the reason that is because our ticket should be $340, but my dad's got cancer, so we get a disability discount.
Right.
So that's why my ticket is that much cheaper. So cheers, chaps.
Yeah, that's
answered that one, Nigel. Shut up.
Yeah, Nigel, that went down well, didn't it?
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Frankie. By the way,
I hope your dad's all right, Frankie. Inflation hasn't gone up 20%. No, it hasn't. Tyler, Danny, me boy, Danny. Yeah.
Oh, that's my friend. That's a friend of mine. He's a Man United fan, though. I still love him.
Is that the bloke who's getting married?
No. He lives here stateside.
Oh,
okay. Tyler, the Man United fan, is infiltrating a West Ham channel.
Yeah.
No, and they really have no idea what happens in the working man's world, do they? No, they don't. 20% is bollocks. Fans need to cause trouble. It is high. It's too high. I reckon they're testing the reaction with 20% leaking out. Yeah, that occurred to me as well. I think that could be right, says Bonnie Hammer. If it meant building proper football on the Bowls footprint, a proper stadium, I imagine, on the Bowls footprint, only just season ticket increase that high. Yeah, I don't think we can get a new stadium for 20%, Sean. In my house, it will be heat or eat. My gas or electric will be £30 a month combined. Well,
that's
even higher than mine. It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's mad. It's mad. And there's a lot of people in that boat, right? When they say 54% rise, well, it ain't 54%. I can tell you that because mine's gone 194 to nearly 500. Claire's on 730 combined. Bloody hell!
Claire, you're gonna have to turn your swimming pool heater off, love. I mean, that's you're gonna have to.
Yeah, we did discover in the last episode that Claire is secretly posh, didn't we? So she's secretly posh because she went to
exactly. She did.
She went to school with Frank Lampard's sister.
Yeah.
It's called a toxic shock event. Yeah, let figures take the heat off. Less bad news. Look the other way. Clubs get much more money from TV. So they should make tickets cheap, just like they do in Germany, right? Just like they do in Germany. They virtually give them away in Germany, and they get people there nice and early to have loads of beers, and they stay after the game and have loads of beers. You can make your money that way.
As Frankie said, in the grand scheme of things, a 20% increase on the overall season ticket prices, it isn't going to make that much difference to the club. Not really, you know. So is it worth the bad press?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And part of what makes the beautiful game so beautiful is to keep it accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean sell your shit dirt cheap. I get it. You're trying to make some money from the door, but it just sounds ugly to me, man. If it's not going to be,
I've got to be honest. This is scary because we're lucky. We're locked into October. So we've had no increases. We managed to sort of do a changeover a couple of months ago, and we are.
You're sort of grandfathered into your price already.
Yeah, we're locked into October, but this is scary. This is.
I'm starting to feel quite fortunate at 500 quid. There have been 2 people who said 700 quid on here tonight so far.
Who can afford that? Who can afford that sort of jump? Really, you know, that's a lot of money, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, I know. And here to balance, there's thoughts on Brexit. Yeah, we're not going to go there. Right, okay. With the way my club is playing, your club is the only United in the Premier. Well said, Tyler. Have you considered trading in your scarf, your red and white, horrible red and white scarf for a Claret?
He won't do it. He won't do it. I actually usually when I travel abroad or something, if I see a kit, I'll actually pick him up a Man United kit as a gift.
Yeah. Right, okay. What's next?
You're next.
Me?
You ready?
Almost. Do you want to play the video?
I'm going to play.
And now, for our Claret and Booze news. Well, Hammer's news, not the rest of the shit that we don't care about. Being delivered expertly and succinctly, that's easy for you to say, by our very own Gary.
Thank you very much, Nick. So, look, a couple of little mentions. I've mentioned Christian Eriksen already. Mentioned Manuel Lanzini, the way his car turned over the other day, and it's looking all right. But special mention to big fat Frankie Lampard, who's trying to give us a few platitudes in the media today, saying, I grew up there, I was a West Ham supporter when I was young. I always have affection for the club. Yeah, special mention to you, Frank. Fuck off. Right. There are 3 big stories this week. The Vultures descend. So that is talking about, Danny's mates, the American owners, who are infiltrating the Premier League en masse. The next one is why the Champions League doesn't pay, and that's specifically for West Ham. And I want to dig into that. And then finally, Declan must improve.
Bollocks.
I'm talking about Declan. It's all relative. On the basis of when will he become world class, and the fact that he can stay at West Ham to become world class before he moves.
He is world class.
Well, whatever. He's world class in your eyes.
Yeah.
So let's first of all talk about when the Vultures descend. Sorry, I've completely lost my.
Those aren't my friends.
Oh no,
they are your friends.
Let's get that. They look like Bond villains. Look at them.
I know they do. So with 4 American bidders by Chelsea, and we're expecting the result on this. We were expecting it a few nights ago. Let's look at the impact of even more US owners who likely, the impact they'll likely have on the Premier League. So let's consider how American owners tend to operate, first of all, and the likely consequences of having yet another American owner in top 4. When completed, it would mean 9 Premier League clubs, and I didn't know this, 9 Premier League clubs to be owned or partly owned by US companies. And And a little warning for Chelsea: ask Arsenal or Man U if they're happy with their current ownership. They're purely commercial arrangements with little or no concern for what the fans think or what they want. The original US owners were the Glazer family, who took over Man United in 2006. Since then, they've spent more than $1 billion to finance the takeover, with dividend and interest payments costing the club around £44 million a year. The club was purchased with debt, and I think it's surely a practice that shouldn't be encouraged. The Glazer family led Project Big Picture, which we can all remember a couple of years ago, which was to reimagine English football in late 2020 by signing up for the Super League launch in April 2021. So they were the leaders, the Glazer family, and they were ably supported by Arsenal's Cronkies and Liverpool's Fenway Sports Group. The main objective of the Super League was to remove the risk and jeopardy that makes our game so special in favour of a self-elected cartel. The Washington Post said the Super League, in quotes, represented a shift from the nostalgic idea of the people's game being organised for the pleasure of fans towards a profit maximisation approach in which clubs are viewed as franchises and fans perceived as customers. As part of Project Big Picture, a select number of Premier League clubs would also have the power of veto for future takeover of rivals. So in theory, if a big shot wanted to come in and take over West Ham, Arsenal, Man United and all the others, they say, no, you can't do that. Liverpool's owner even wanted to scrap the League Cup because they wanted the Super League. Oh, it's too many games. League Cup, not bothered with that. One of the American bidders of Chelsea recently commented that he was shocked at the English fans' response to the Super League. In the US, sport has been dynamic and disruptive in moving sports teams around to different cities without the threat of relegation or punishment. It's the norm in US sport, but it will never be accepted as a norm over here. We can see where this is going, and following the lack of punishment from the Premier League and UEFA, I suspect once they've absorbed the benefits of the new Super League, Champions League format, which is basically what it is, I expect them to once again push for more. My attitude is the same as it ever was. You know, I think if they want to go, but you ain't going to sit behind and play your B team in a domestic league. I think UEFA, FIFA and Premier League need to put measures in to stop this before the inevitable happens. But anyway, what do you think? And I'm going to give this one, obviously, to Danny because, you know, we're talking about his mates here. How can we protect the Premier League and West Ham against these vultures? And how would you feel if one of these commercially driven American owners suddenly became interested in buying West Ham?
Have some sort of an entry-level type of exam that they've got to pass. And if you call it soccer, you can't own a team.
Yeah.
That would be a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's looked at as just from a purely business standpoint, it sucks that's kind of how it works over here. You mentioned the Crankies that own Arsenal, I believe.
Yeah.
So I live not far from where their NFL franchise used to be located. So backtrack with you real quick. They were originally the Los Angeles Rams. Then they moved to St. Louis, just a few hours north of where I'm at, and even won a Super Bowl there. So a few years go by, and then they moved the team back to Los Angeles.
Wow.
Broke hearts everywhere. Like I know people that personally want to physically harm the Crankies for moving their favorite team over to Los Angeles. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. Super cool, I guess. But just seeing how they conduct business here, it's not feasible. It doesn't work in football overseas because it belongs to the people. It's not just a simple business transaction and an asset that you have. There really should be some sort of I don't know, safeguards in place to keep it. And it's not necessarily just American owners, but just if you're buying into it, you better give a good damn about it.
Yeah.
Or you get
it's all about money though, isn't it? With US sports, it
yes,
seems to be.
Like all good things, money kind of ruins everything.
Yeah.
It's the root of all evil. It's the root of all people, unfortunately. I don't know what can be done. maybe it's silly to have a test like if you call it soccer, you can't own a club. But if you don't know what the hell English football is all about, if you don't follow it, you've really got no business sticking your nose in there. That's not a shiny new toy you can play with. There are people there's generations and generations and hundreds of years of history in those clubs that people are attached to, and you can't fuck with that. Not in my opinion.
No, it's a whole dynamic of not just the English game, but the other European leagues, and not just European leagues. It's only really the US that this happens. And in England, it's kind of you got that football pyramid where anyone can make it to the top. I mean, you get it year on year with the cups anyway. But literally, you can go from National League South, within 6 years, 7 years of a bit of investment, you could be up in the Premier League. And I don't think it's the
beauty of the game.
It's the beauty of the game, and likewise, the top teams, if they're not run properly, they can disappear as well. They can get punished if they're not run well.
It's based on competition and merit, and not I mean, there are some punishments. There's incentives for doing well here in the States, but at the end of the day, we've got our 4 major sports here are going to be hockey, basketball, American football, and baseball.
Yeah.
Regardless of how they finish at the end of the season, every single one of those teams has a place in that league.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have tiers, but we also don't have 150 plus years of history playing these sports.
No.
I think they clearly have seen that they can't enforce the franchise system and that kind of no jeopardy approach in little old England. So that's why the European Super League is the way.
Not without massive backlash. I love how pissed off everybody got at that.
Yeah. So what do you think, Frankie?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's not more to be said than what's been said already, really. I think obviously Danny's got a great take on it because he lives and breathes it every day with the way they have things over there. But it just doesn't work here. I think, it's proven in the clubs that have owners that are foreign owners in this country, but do show that they care. Like Leicester, I think Leicester's owners are fantastic. Leeds owners, I watched the documentary on Leeds on Netflix. He really
almost universally respected Leicester's owners.
Yeah, just superb. And that's how it should be. And the way Leicester, actually pays for travel at times, gives them a free beer and a pie, gives them stuff on their seats, giveaways and stuff like that. It's the little things that can just make you feel like all that money you put in, it's not just money either, it's time to follow a football club, all the time you spend on, and then to give those little things back, it doesn't take a lot. And that's why I just sometimes, I mean, we've been foul of not liking our owners at times and feeling like we've all been taken for a ride and so on. And then we've also had other clubs, but when times are good and the team's performing, all of that disappears very, very quickly. So you see that with Arsenal at the moment. They were at loggerheads and didn't want to go, but at the end of the day, the results on the pitch, it shows how much that matters, because once the form on the pitch is there, nobody cares what the owners are doing anymore. And it's like, we're just enjoying watching our football again. So it's a tough one. Arsenal have really turned it around. They're on this bubble again. Everyone's packed into the Emirates again. At one point, none of them wanted to go into the Emirates and we're all boycotting it. Now they all love it. So it's, there was that old saying of how fickle football fans are. I think that does carry a bit of weight, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it does to a degree, but I mean, we've already started seeing some changes. I mean, you've got the coefficient rules that are coming into the European competitions now that we're going to talk about in a bit. That's kind of step one. You've even got the Premier League changes. I mean the 5 sub rule. Next, is it from next season? I mean, that's only benefiting the big teams who have got big squads.
Yeah.
Well, that's how
Moyes spoke on that today.
Yeah.
By the way.
What did he say? What did he say, Danny? I didn't see the press conference.
Yeah, Moyes spoke on the 5 subs rule. I was kind of shocked by this because whenever I first heard it, I'm like, you don't need to keep messing with the beautiful game. It's already fucking perfect. Stop it. Yeah. But he's actually in favor of it. He likes the idea of he hates
making a sub.
from a player safety standpoint, that's the way that he approached it. He likes it. And that almost worried me more because I'm wondering if he's going to use that as a crutch for not bringing in more new signings.
Oh, no, he doesn't make subs as it is, does he? And he does. He plays.
No,
how many times have we seen Antonio? But how many times have we seen Antonio, on 60 minutes running on empty, and he just fucking carries on? He can hardly lift his legs, and he's still there.
He's never going to make 5 subs. It's never going to happen, right?
No, not in a million years is he going to make.
No, but all this does is though, it's going to, because we've seen it ourselves now. With Aston Villa and a few other clubs, gamesmanship is really sort of massively creeping into this game now, where teams will go, a goal up, or if they're happy with a draw, they're happy with a draw, and then they'll just they'll just lay down on the floor. They'll bring on subs. It's just going to make it easier to time.
Yeah, one sub at a time, 5 times, right?
Yeah,
they slowly walk off and walk to the edge of the pitch.
Absolutely.
It sounds like really it'll stagnate the flow of the game.
It will. Yeah. It will. Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to. It's only going to benefit the big teams.
A squad that's amazing, like Liverpool and everybody else have. Right? When you've got a squad like that, you could do what Liverpool did to Nottingham Forest the other week, right? And that is, we're struggling to win this game. We're going to swap out all of our attacking players in one go. They made 5 substitutions in one hit, and they swapped 5 internationals for another 5 internationals, and they won the game.
Especially those teams that are competing in European competitions. That's half your fucking squad.
It is. Gary, I'll run through the chat while you're doing the news section. So if we go, where are we? So we've got Garino. Rumours are that Antonio does this when he hits Rose Ed. We've got Phil. Hello, Phil. US pro sport is based around business, meaning no relegation. It works for them because it's fueled by money. But we can't allow it to dictate or replicate to UK European football. I think it's only a matter of time, unfortunately, but I do agree with you. Bonnie Hammer, we had Americans in Trip Smith. Yeah, I think he is still involved. He is still involved.
This is not anti-American, by the way. I work for
no.
It's not. No. It's just
it's anti. It's that format.
Anti-vulture.
It's the way they seem to conduct business in our football game, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's more American than going to a different place and telling them how they should do things?
Yeah, exactly.
Sharky clearly loves GSB and thinks that they're going to be here for forever. Sean says the Crankies. Right, so we've got Phil again. Good example of US ownership is Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds, and Rob. I can't say that.
Rob McElhaney.
That's it. Yeah. Both generally get the history and passion of a local club. There you go. That is a good example. It really is. I like that. What was that? That quote from Ryan Reynolds where he said, because
bury me in Wales.
They drew 6. They was losing. It was ridiculous. And he said, I've lost 6 years off my life. But he said, my God, I'm addicted to this sport.
Yeah. And he said, bury me in Wales.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You love to see it, though.
Yeah. You do.
And from Garino, to be honest, most clubs in the Premier League are run as businesses. Yeah, they are. Danger is if the majority of clubs become American-owned, then they'll try to remove relegation, which they will, and you know that's going to surface again. You can kind of feel it.
Yeah.
What's this? Sharky, they'll be gone next year, I believe. Yeah, I like your optimism, Gatesy. I like your optimism. We've got Nigel, right? The fear is more American owners in the Premier League would then form a block to change the league structure.
Yeah.
No, and that's right. And it is a worry. And do you know what? It is going to happen, whether it's Americans or it's someone else. I think that if you're going to run a club as a business, that model suits, that model suits whoever owns a club, doesn't it?
Well, two things they'll do.
Is there anything that the government can do from a legislative standpoint to have?
Yeah, they could. They could be if there's enough money involved. They're not going to get involved, are they?
We're joking, but yeah, Boris will be paid off. Don't worry about that. They'll reduce the size of what they want to do to support the Super League and more focus on the Europe is to shrink the league down to 16 teams, right, and have no promotion or relegation. That's what they want.
Yeah, and that would be shit. That would kill the game over here. I think most people would lose their passion for it. It's a club, not a franchise.
It's the Mickey Mouse bullshit, man. That's not why we watch this game.
No, absolutely. I completely agree, Tyler. Piotr, it depends what level they take us. Hopefully better than players like Razvan Rat and is for the same place as me. Paul Evans, money talks will always go to the highest bidder. Yeah, morals go out the window, except with Russia. Look, we've seen that with the World Cup this year, right? You know, there's no morals in football.
There is no bottom.
David Beckham doing fucking tourist propaganda for the Qatari government. It's like, oh, we've got lovely food over here. The locals are lovely. Come to Qatar and watch the World Cup.
David Beckham owns Inter Miami FC. He needs the money. Just let him make his extra money.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay. Peter's joined late. How dare you, Peter? Hang on. My mouse ain't working. There we go. Hello, Peter. Right. Bonnie Hammer. Right. In this country, money talks, no morals. Yeah, everyone's saying a similar thing.
No, that's every country.
Yeah, that's it. So we've got Tyler David. US owners will bleed or tank your teams of all assets, even if you're one of the highest earning clubs in the league. United as an example. Yeah, you're exactly right, mate. And that's kind of what Gary was alluding to. Chelsea, Newcastle. Yeah, a lot of people got a lot to say about this. Sean,
now you guys see,
Premier League must still
see what American owners and what these Saudi owners have done. Obviously, we won't know the long-lasting effects of the Saudi ownership in Newcastle, but do you maybe feel a little bit fortunate to have British owners? Not many Premier League clubs do.
Well, do you know what? It all depends. I think. Look. Golden Sullivan, they've been terrible. You know, there are worse, but they have been terrible. Yeah, there are worse, but they have been terrible. I'm just hoping that Kretinsky doesn't turn out to be worse because he's clearly going to buy the club.
I think if I was to play devil's advocate, I would say one thing in favour of Golden Sullivan, and that is they have managed a successful and profitable business for many, many years, and we haven't gone down like a lot of other companies, right? So they've run the business side, they've run the company well.
Yeah.
But they haven't done it to please the fans in any way, shape, or form.
Well, look, at the end of the day, from the time that they took over to where we are now, it's taken much longer than anticipated, but we are kind of, apart from the fact we're at the London Stadium and not Upton Park, because no one
kind of delivered. I'll be honest, on at least one of the promises that we'd get some European football. The nights that you guys have gotten to see that, they delivered on at least some of it.
And Greeno nails it. The excitement of possibly winning or qualifying for something when performing, the fear and dread when things go wrong, and possibly a relegation looms are what makes football tick. And that is 100% right.
I'll tell you what, without that, would you be interested in football? I don't think I would. I don't think I would. Should we?
No, that's what preseason's for.
Yeah. Should we move on to the second? Are you nearly there?
I'm nearly there. Go on. Right, I'll whiz through these. Go on. Let me put them all up. Right. Hang on. I hope no one's swearing because I'm not checking them. All right. There we go.
Besides us.
Stop talking amongst yourselves in the chat, you rude people. Right, hang on. I can't pick them out. Right. So Hammerhead, you're allowed to make 5 subs, but only make 3 subs. Hey? Right.
Make subs 3 times, so you can't bring on 5 individual subs. It's got to be groups of 2.
That does make sense. Yeah, well, that does.
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I didn't know that, Hammerhead. Thank you.
Wait, that's the actual rule?
Apparently so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I could stomach that.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Last couple. So on the flip side, why not let's make ourselves like the 5 subs rule, because when we'd have a strong enough squad to justify it, it's not 5 individual subs. Yeah, right. Well, I didn't know that, Sean. I've just been right. I'd say we're going to the next story, Gary, because there's still.
Also, one more thing, right? The bench will clearly be a lot bigger as well, so you're going to get a lot of kids on the bench, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's right.
Who knows? Maybe it grows the game even more. You get a lot more.
Listen. Moyes ain't making 5 subs in the game ever.
No, never ever.
He could have a squad of 50.
This one's going to come to you at the end, Frankie. All right. So
right.
So I've often wondered if it would really pay for West Ham to qualify for the Champions League. When you consider the additional costs in terms of increased wages and inflated transfer fees, is it worth it? And I'm going to compare us and Man City as a kind of working example. So let's start with the assumed Premier League prize money if we finish 8th and Man City win the league. So if that happened, they get 161 million, we get 143 million. Not too much difference, to be honest. The real difference comes when you start talking about Europe. So this year, if we win the Europa League, we go all the way and we win it, we'll pocket 22 million. Right? With me so far? I hope so. Champions League clubs who go on to win. So if Man City went on to win the league this year, win the Champions League this year, so we would win the Europa League for 22 million. They would end up getting something like 92 million out of winning the Champions League. It's a huge difference. But even though it's a huge difference in prize money, Man City have also got a much more expensive squad. And I'm talking, our squad costs 80 million versus theirs. Their squad, wages-wise, that's manager and players, 220
their bench
million.
costs that.
220 million. So when you look at it, and look, we're not going to do a granular level, a scientific exercise of comparing who's more profitable, right? Because City clearly are, because they've got a lot of dodgy sponsorships, mainly from the owner's cousin or the owner's nephew or whatever. They seem to be pulling up 100 millions here and there. So we can't compete on that level. We can't compete probably on ticket sales and stuff like that. But let's compare the football side and say, right, okay, how much does it cost in terms of wages to run a football team and a manager? And secondly, how much do you earn in prizes, prize money for, first of all, winning the Premier League in terms of Man City and winning the Champions League? They would pocket 254 million in revenue, with wages, with costs of 220 million, giving them 34 million profit. West Ham, on the other hand, if we were to win the Europa League and the Premier League, we would pocket prizes of 165 million with a wage bill of 80 million, giving us an 85 million profit. Now, I know that's a very simplistic way of doing it, right? But the question is, and this is one that goes to you, Frankie. You think about this. Imagine if we got into the Champions League, we won the Europa League, we get into the Champions League next year. Suddenly, everybody in the team would want a pay rise. Everybody we signed would be incoming as a Champions League player going to a Champions League club. The price of that player would go up. The wages would go up. So the big question is, would the Champions League be the holy grail or just an expensive noose to a club like West Ham? And before you answer this, there's just one more bit of information. From that money that Man City earn, the 92 million or whatever it is for winning the Champions League, a big chunk of that, and it's about 24 million, is to do with the 10-year coefficient, which is a very recent addition. But it's a big chunk of money. And what it means is, as a newbie into the Champions League, there's no way we could ever earn as much as Man City, right? The only way we could earn as much as Man City in terms of revenue every year would be to have success in the Champions League year in, year out. So on that basis, if we were to qualify for the Champions League, poison chalice, or something really good for us. Over to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different. Well, it is different. But what I'm trying to get at is a similar scenario as a team that gets promoted from the Championship to the Premier League when they're not ready for it. Sometimes that can be just as much a detriment. I actually think we benefited from losing that playoff final we did against Crystal Palace and going up the following year because we built a better squad. We had a better team. We had more chance of sustaining Premier League survival than we did if we would have gone up the first year round. Similar to this sort of scenario, I would much rather us have a few years in the Europa League, get used to travelling and Europa League football, and then go and have a crack at the Champions League. So, I mean, if we come down to the financial aspect of it all and all those things, from a true supporter's point of view, that kind of goes out the window a little bit for me. You just go, I'd love to see West Ham in the Champions League. What a dream it would be. So you just want to qualify for the Champions League because you want to see us. I want to go to the best stadiums. The fact that we're getting an opportunity at the Nou Camp has only come because Barca have been terrible in the past couple of years. But normally you wouldn't get that trip unless you were in the Champions League. So, I'd love to see West Ham in the Champions League. But do I think it could be a bit of a poison chalice and it could be to our detriment? I do think it could be. It's
almost too quick, like moving up too quickly for our own damn good.
Absolutely. And you have to be careful there. When we're not that well structured for that yet. I mean, how we've coped with Europa League football and done as well as we have in the league and Europa League this year, I'm still shocked. I can't believe we haven't had. Do you know what? I'm not even going to say it because we're not finished the season yet, so I'm not going to jinx it. But, you know, it could have been a very, very different scenario. And how many teams do you see who get in the Europa League and have an atrocious season, almost get relegated and things like that? If you're not prepared and you haven't got the structure of as a club to deal with it, then it can be a dangerous game to play. So, yeah, if I'm looking at it from that perspective, you do think, yeah, it could be a dangerous thing to flirt with the Champions League. But from a fan's perspective, let's go and have a go. I
think it's brilliant how you have put that there, and to piggyback off of that. Case in point, when is the last time we saw Fulham or Norwich actually stay in the Premier League? They just they get promoted and they go right the fuck back down.
Yeah,
that I was ready to say I'd love to see, like the way you put that just now, Frankie. I do see it your way. Wow. That's not how I was ready to answer that.
Yeah, but that's the essence of the question, really. You know, with Norwich, they get relegated, then they absolutely
they're back the next year.
They murder all competition in the Championship, and they reach like the Holy Grail, and then they lose every game. And what's the point in that? I just don't see it. And with West Ham, I think there's a chance to, if they got into the Champions League, to suddenly massively inflate their wage bill and buy overpriced players to perhaps get knocked out in the group stages. You know, and that's what bothers me. That's what bothers me. So I think you're right, Frankie. What do you reckon, Nick? You're on mute, Nick, which is pleasurable for some of us.
Oh, sorry. I've been talking into the mic for ages. I've been trying to heckle you.
No, just now.
Yeah. No. Look, I've got to be honest. I think making that step up to the flirting with the Champions League is one thing, but if we can qualify for the Champions League and then somehow build on that, because if you have a look, Nigel sent me the coefficient points and the prize money for this year so far, and when you look at that with where we are at the moment, we've made about 11 million euros at the moment to get where we are, you know, and we're one game away from a semi-final. Right, that's without TV money, Frankie. That's purely prize money from Europa. So with TV money, that's an awful lot more. But when you go up the top of that list to the Champions League clubs, right, who are at a similar stage, you're looking at 90 million plus prize money. That's massive. And when you look at imagine, that's what I mean. But imagine the TV money they're getting as well. So if you've got to speculate to accumulate, you've got to speculate to accumulate. I know they pay a fortune on players and they do this and they do that, but that's a different league entirely. If you get into that Champions League, like I say, we've just made 11 million euros and we've been televised every game. You know, we've been kind of one of the main teams in that competition. 11 million euros to Bayern Munich, Man City, and whoever who have made like 90 in the Champions League. And do you know what? You can double that, maybe triple it if you factor in TV revenue as well. It's crazy. It's crazy money. It really is. That's you know. So
do we trust West Ham to go and buy £100 million, 150 million worth of players to maintain that?
So,
like you said, what happens when you buy them? They're all on them wages. Then you go out of the Champions League. Then next year you got them hanging around. You're probably on longer contracts than they should be,
and you're bleeding.
And then we're getting suffocated. All of a sudden, we're banging trouble.
But the thing is, for owners like what we've got at the moment, like we had with Gold and Sullivan, look, they're billionaires. You know, they're not super rich. They're not. You know, most of their money isn't fluid. It's all tied up in property and stuff like that. They're billionaires on paper, aren't they? You know, but if you get Krasinski come in, it's dangerous for people like that to get involved in the big league like that, because you need big money and with it's a gamble. It's a gamble. If it comes off, you make a lot of money. You will make a lot of money back. You will if you're a businessman. But I do think for a businessman who's got the expendable money, who's got the balls, which Krasinski I'm hoping will have, you know, it is worth a gamble, because if you can cement yourself in that top six, look, that's the reason Tottenham. I mean, and when you look at that money, that is why Tottenham are so desperate to get back into that competition. They're so desperate to get back into the competition because they've still got that stadium to pay off, and that shows you the money that the Champions League is worth. Without that, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle to pay it off.
It's a massive gravy train, and what they were proposing was you know, to sort of bring both stories together, what they were promoting with the Champions League. I mean, I don't know about. Surely a typical Spurs supporter is a similar mindset, apart from being an arsehole, is a typical mindset to me, right? And that's someone who enjoys the slings and throws of football and someone who enjoys the competition and playing the local rivals and everything else. So what would be the appeal to someone like me as a Spurs supporter to be in this close shop with European clubs playing everybody with no threat of relegation? They're like exhibition games. They're not really competitive anymore. So what is the point in that? So I think what they've brought in with the 10-year coefficient, frankly, and my point on that was that is actual bullshit. That is
massive bullshit.
That is making fresh entrants into the Champions League like us. If we scraped in, next year they're going to make it almost, if the likes of Spurs, who have got a better 10-year coefficient, finish below us and we finish, I don't know, 5th or something, they would qualify instead of us. So it takes it to the next level in terms of
even if we win the Europa League this year, we still wouldn't have as many coefficient points as Spurs.
No, we wouldn't, and that's appalling.
That's
fugazi, man. That's no way to handle it. I know.
Well, it's something you can only build over a period of time, and I only figured this out today. The Man City, they're getting that extra 24 million bung. Just for being Man City and having their history in the Champions League for the last 10 years. If West Ham get in, I checked the bottom of that UEFA coefficient league in the Champions League spaces. You're talking about 1 million, 2 million, right? So it all adds up. Man City are always going to qualify from their group. They're always going to get to the quarter or semi-final, right? Because they've got money to burn. And you're right, Nick. The add on to that, that's just prize money we're talking about today. Add on to that the TV revenue and everything else, which is massively significant. I would say the correct approach would be, we've won the Europa League, we're going to go for it in the Champions League, but we're going to keep it real. We ain't going to build a full Champions League squad. We're just going to chance our arm and give it our best shot.
Listen. Our manager, you could give him 500 million to spend. He'd give you 495 back, wouldn't he? He would. He fucking ain't going to spend it, is he? But I'll tell you, before we move on to the next one, I'm just going to run through. Right, Mike Brennan, who you all know and love, he's with us. As surprise, he's so drunk.
Michael, message me. We're supposed to sit together at Arsenal.
And this goes on to you. Hang on a minute, because Mercedes pops in as well. So look, you can see he's spelling chef made personal cocktails. What's this?
He's in cursive right now.
He's on the red now. Mercedes, I'm soon to be very intoxicated as well, Mike. Just had a pop on to see my husband's handsome face. To which
my sister-in-law's bachelorette party.
Yeah. To which Mike replies, "Well, I'll be worried if you're going to sit next to him. He is so handsome, Mercedes." So, there you go.
Right.
Okay, go on. Yeah, go on. Nip on to the next story. Go on.
It's the final story in this new section. We're going to talk about Declan Rice. All about Declan Rice. And you see this headline, Declan must improve. So look, we all want Dec to stay for at least another season, but that's just us putting West Ham first, right? Or would it also benefit Dec to grow for another season before he moves on to bigger and better things? Being touted by Southgate recently as an ex-England captain, Dec has driven the team to compete with all the best teams in the Premier League and Europa League this year, and also is thriving on the international stage. He said this week he loves the club, but we also know that he has ambitions, remembering his interview with Gary Neville, to win all the biggest honours, and that's great. He should. Something that will likely take him elsewhere eventually. I love that he craves glory because I crave it too. But talking in terms of world class, Declan is not yet the finished article, in my opinion. And I reckon it will take at least another year or two for him to reach his real peak. I don't think he's peaked yet. He's going to peak. There's another peak to come from him. Stuart Pearce said recently, Dec still gets regular raps across the knuckles from the backroom staff as they want him to become the best he can be. An example from Pearce was, Declan often goes on a lung-busting run and afterwards he looks knackered. So I told him, don't do that, Dec. In other words, never look knackered and show weakness to the opposition. So, in effect, Stuart Pearce is like the Mr. Miyagi of football. Paint on, paint off, Dec. Next up, we have the great Yaya Toure, who was great, who lives in London these days. And he's offered personally to mentor Dec and give him some advice on how to develop and become the best he can be. And Yaya thinks that Dec has all the tools necessary to be better than him. So that's just a couple of recent examples to show you, in order to become the kind of top player and become world class, who would command a starting place in any team in the world, there's still work to be done, Dec. So let's just hope he chooses to do that work with West Ham before his move to Real Madrid in the summer of 2023. So anyway, look, and this one, Nick, you love Dec, so I'm going to give this one to you. Where do you think Dec would need to improve his game to move to that next level?
I don't know what you want me to say to that. What do you mean improve his game?
You got to say,
because look, he's naturally going to get better. He's naturally going to. I know what you're saying, because of his age, he's not yet reached his level. Is there currently a better defensive midfielder in world football than?
I'll ask you a different question.
No, there isn't. What I'm saying is let me answer it. He is already world class. But the reason he's worth so much money is because you're talking about one of the top 5 or 10 players in the world. That is Declan Rice. And what will happen is with him, once he, we could say, he could add goals to his game. He doesn't get forward enough to add goals to his game. And when he does get forward, he's a provider. Now, Declan Rice has got the ability to play anywhere on a pitch. And I mean that. For West Ham, I truly believe this, right? If you played him at right back, he'd be our best right back. Left back, centre back, central midfield, right wing, left wing, centre forward. Declan Rice would be the best player on the pitch. He is that good. Is he going to get better? Yes, he is. Southgate pissed me off with his comment that he made after the thing where he started talking about he's captain material. Well, I'm sorry,
Correct.
mate. He's been a fucking captain. He's been a captain for West Ham for how long? So you mean he's captain material? He is a captain. He's a captain already. Yeah. He's a leader. He's only gonna get better. He's a legend. He's brilliant. If he stay, look, I'll tell you what. If he stays with us next season, he's a West Ham legend. Because in my mind, even if he does move on afterwards in 2023,
I agree with that.
I think that would prove to me that because I think that would prove to me that he is. But no, if you're asking me, can he reach world class levels? If we put that £150 million price tag, that ain't going to scare teams off. I'm telling you that now.
No,
it's not. He is that good. He's that good.
How about you, Frankie? Where do you think he can improve, and where can he improve?
I know how he improves, and that's not keep wanting to get forward like he did at the early parts of this season. That it's wrong. It's not his game. And I know he likes the glory of scoring a goal, but it's not him. Yeah. He is the best reader of a defensive central midfielder that you will ever see. And I'm with you on that. I think he's already at the top level for reading a game defensively. Yeah. I think he's absolutely world class. I don't think I see anyone read a game like he does, but he needs to be grounded and appreciate that he's so good at that. Enjoy how good you are at that. Don't try and be this creative, forward, more progressive midfielder, because I'm sorry, I just don't think it's him. I know he bombed forwards at times. I know he has some shots. I know he's nicked a couple of goals when doing that, but Souček will always score more goals than Declan Rice will from a more forward position in our midfield. Always.
Yeah.
And
look,
he will.
I think. Look, we'll butt heads on this because I've had arguments about this all year with Gary. Right? Gary agrees with you, by the way. But the fact is, with Declan Rice, I don't think he will be held to central defensive midfield. I think he's progressed from defence. He's progressed into central defensive midfield. Declan Rice will become the best all-round central midfielder in world football. He's going to become a Gerrard. He is, mate. He can do the lot. Now, look, a lot of our goals this year, they've come from when Souček, for instance, has been anonymous doing fuck all in games. You've got Lanzini who's been struggling. Other players. Declan Rice, he gets criticised for surging forward. Most of the time, Declan Rice surges forward out of necessity because there's fuck all happening in front of him. So he'll pick the ball up, like the Lanzini goal against Palace, and even with Kidderminster, Declan Rice will grab that ball. He'll grab the ball by the horns because he is a captain, and he'll go, do you know what? That's it. He does make passes out. He does do that. I don't think he's selfish, or not selfish. I don't think he's
glory chasing.
He wants to be that player. I think if Declan Rice had world class, if he had creative midfielders in front of him, he wouldn't tread on no one's toes. But the fact of the matter is, I think that Declan Rice knows that he can drive that ball forward. Who can drive the ball like him? He leaves players on their arse. He carries the ball up the pitch. And what happens then is he when we're struggling, when we're regressed and we're stuck in our own half, right? What happens then is Declan Rice gets us up the pitch, and that does happen, doesn't it? Because sometimes we do play that game. We do play that standoffish game where we kind of hold our shape and we look for the counter attack when there isn't one. And what Declan Rice sometimes does give us, it gives us that out ball. So no, that is Frankie. Honestly, I've had this argument with so many people. This
my
year.
argument back.
I'm in the minority. I'm in the minority, but that is my opinion. That is
I would say Rice has had more of the opportunity to get forward for the most part of this season, far more.
Yeah.
I think he, without a question, for I'd say 3/4 of this season so far, Rice has been the more progressive player than Souček. Yet Souček still scored more goals than Rice this season. And I just think that says it all. And I don't think Rice has got that. I don't think. And look at the Carrick player. Like Carrick was so underestimated, so underrated. He was fantastic, Carrick, as a footballer.
Yeah.
But he knew what he was, and he stayed at that, and he didn't allow this whole. Because them sort of players, they do go under the radar. They're underappreciated. And Rice is 100% underappreciated right now. The fact that people don't think he's worth this 150 million is mad. And the fact that loads of them don't. I was watching, again, earlier, that Man United channel. Oh, we don't want Rice. All we want is a player that will work hard. Well, no one will work hard if you even Declan Rice, you lunatic. Like, where are you coming from now? So, and like you say, I get that driving forward of the ball, but I used to love Diarme when he used to do that for us. Don't get me wrong, I'm not putting Diarme on the same level as Declan Rice, but he used to pick up that ball and drive forward. And early on in his career with us, Kouyaté did it as well. He used to pick up the ball and drive forward. And I think there's no better place to do that from than that central defensive.
Absolutely. But do you know what I think happened? Do you know the start of this season? And you are right. You are right in the sense that the start. Don't get me wrong. The start of the season was exciting. We was free scoring. We were scoring loads of goals because what happened? Second of the last season, when Lingard came in, our style of play changed. We started playing. We had Lingard in the middle of the park. We had someone who could pick the ball up, and he's got that quick turn of acceleration. He can carry the ball. He can drive it forward. Well, all of a sudden we were missing that, but we were trying to play the same way. And I do think that Declan Rice is probably the only player in our team that can do it. And that's the issue. We need to get someone else. We need someone else in there that can do that with him. Souček is brilliant. He's a battler. He's a destroyer. He's box to box. But again, he ain't in the same fucking planet as Declan Rice. He's not. He's not on the same planet as Declan Rice.
We've seen Souček's best.
Yes.
Like Declan Rice, we have not seen his ceiling yet.
No way.
Not hit his ceiling.
And he ain't finished. He should no way accept I'm just a CDM. He should not accept that.
No.
It's like I say, Steven, he can do everything Steven Gerrard could do. He can pick the passes.
Compare him to. He reminds me of He reminds me of Makaleli, and he's already this young.
Yeah,
he's still this young.
He's superb.
A lot of improvement.
I just think he lacks that little bit of something for that attacking more box to box midfielder. I'm not sure it's right for him. I'm not sure it's right for his the way
instructed to play.
In terms of attacking play, though, Frankie, when you're talking about someone who can drive a ball forward from a central position, Souček can't do that. Souček, if you're talking about an attacking midfielder,
no, he can't.
Souček, he can't see a pass. He can make a pass if it's clear and obvious. He can make a pass. He hasn't got any vision. All Souček is good at, he's good inside that 18-yard box. He's good at making them late runs, but he ain't creative. So he's not an attacking midfielder. He's almost a deep lying forward, in a sense, because he isn't an attacking midfielder. He doesn't create chances. But I think the reason that you're right in a sense, when partnered with Souček's strengths are in the 18-yard box, and that means that Declan Rice should be regressed because when Declan Rice surges forward, Souček ain't as good back there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as good. They're brilliant when they...
I'll watch him read that.
It has a lot to do with who he's paired with back there?
Yeah.
I think people sometimes, again, the modern day football fan wants these glory players. We all do. We all love to follow the players that get the goals. And, Payet was incredible, wasn't he? What a player he was. But, at the end of the day, I'd have Declan Rice in my team over Payet all day long because I just watch how he reads that game.
I love him.
I just think how he reads the game defensively versus how he reads the game in the further, up the pitch. I don't think he reads it as well further forward than he does at the back. And I just think sometimes you are what you are. And I'm not saying if you've got it, don't go and make it happen. I just think he's so good at that defensive role. I think it would be a shame to see him further up the pitch. But going back to the question here, how does Rice improve? The way he improves is playing with better players around him. That's how he improves, and that's the reality.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
That's the reality. But also on the Stuart Pearce thing, I remember when he broke his leg and didn't even want to go off the pitch.
I know.
When he said, "Don't show you that you're tired," he was trying to stay on the pitch with a broken leg. What a man he was! So and Deck does do that. He is guilty of that. When he does that bombing forward, he comes back with a little bit of a huff and a puff. And he's right. Just put your head down, Deck.
I just love. It's like against Aston Villa. Didn't you enjoy him leaving John McGinn on his arse the way he did?
Oh yeah,
John McGinn is no mug. By the way, John McGinn is not a poor defender.
He just left him on his ass.
He made him look like a mug, though, didn't he? That was
yeah. Oh, yeah. That looked like some shit that I'd pull if I was playing against 5-year-olds, man. That was
but like I say, I think Declan Rice does that. You are right. Look, at the end of the day, his stats all season, he's predominantly a defensive midfielder. That is what he is, and that's what he still has been. I think if Declan Rice had more talented players in front of him, which we're lacking at the moment, we are, because Ben Rama ain't it. I don't think Vlasic is it. Lanzini's been he's had a resurgence. He's been playing well. I think Rice has been going forward less since Lanzini's been back in the team.
And he admitted it.
He has because
that quick question, Nick, on that. Do you think, though, and this is just playing devil's advocate a little bit again, do you think Declan looks as good? He does these runs forward, and sometimes he skips past players in that final third, and you think, why can't no one else on the pitch do that? Is that because we ain't got no one else that does that, though, that makes him look better going forward? If we had better players going forward, do we think actually Rice just sit back there?
No, but I think he does that because we haven't got that. That's what I'm saying to you. I think Declan Rice in games, he's a captain, right? He's got to lead by example. Sometimes, because he don't do it. The only reason we talk about this, because you've got players like Ben Rama that will go on 10 dribbles and only 1 will be successful. Declan Rice will go on 10 dribbles, 9 will be successful, right? But he doesn't do it a lot in a game. But we only talk about it because we remember it. Because he surged up the ball up the field with the ball, he carries it, he leaves players on their arse. He's good at it. I'm not saying he's you're right. He's not a visionary. He's not a creative player like he can see a pass, but he's not that kind of attacking, technically gifted player like that yet. Do I think he could? I don't think he'll ever become a number 10, but could he become that sort of complete midfielder? Yeah,
a box-to-box midfield, proper box-to-box
all day long.
So think about this: as good as Declan Rice is right now, you could plug him into Real Madrid's starting 11
everywhere. Honestly,
for Casemiro, who's their defensive mid. You could plug him in, and they would not be a worse side with him there.
No, that's the thing. It's what I'm saying to you. When you say about making him world class, do you think, Frankie? Do you think that there is a team? You agree with me, by the way, about the fact he is world class in that position.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a team at the moment? I would say in world football that Declan Rice wouldn't go and be a part of that starting 11.
No, I think he would get into any of those teams without a question.
I think he'd get into any of them, wouldn't he?
But further to that point, I think if he went to Liverpool tomorrow, I think he is the defensive midfielder.
He would be in that team. Of course, he would be because he doesn't need to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he would be.
Yeah,
but that's just why I'm saying to him at West Ham, I've loved it in the last few games where he's just been that more defensive midfielder. I just think he's brilliant there, and I think that's where he is world class right now. We experimented at the beginning of this season of letting him get further forward. I don't think he delivered enough, but I don't think it was wrong to let him have a go, because if we didn't, then you never know, do you? So you've got to try it.
He's only provided stability regardless of where he is on the pitch.
Listen. What happens? What happens? I know. Look, this is hearsay, right? This one ain't a transfer rumor show. But what happens if Calvin Phillips does sign? How exciting is that? And what happens? What happens with? Obviously, look, it's good to have three top central midfielders, which we would have. But who would be the starters? Would it be Declan Rice and Phillips? It would be, wouldn't it?
But that is the most beautiful thing that West Ham haven't had in recent times, which is looking at the opposition and thinking, who do we play today to counter the opposition?
Exactly.
I'd love to get to that stage. Yeah. We haven't got that.
Well, I'm not being funny, right? How good was Souček? If a game that Souček ain't playing, you need a goal. You bring on players that can cross the ball. You bring Souček on. He's another threat in the box. He's something different. Whether Souček is going to be happy not being the main man, who knows? Because he's not the main man at the moment, but he's part of that magic circle that never gets dropped. You know, but But yeah,
so it's stuff with Souček for better or for worse. That I have found a bit odd.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look, let's move through a couple of comments. So Sharky says Moyes will buy in the summer.
Believe it when I see it.
He will. He's going to.
And Trudge says reliable source on KUMB says we've already got 2 signings in the bag, and I think those 2 are Lingard on a 3-year deal, verbal agreement, and
really?
Areola. I think Areola we've agreed an 11 million. That was the rumor from 2 days ago, I assume. And then he goes on to say Lingard, Tarkowski, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's Areola. I think, going back to your thing about your dad, Frankie, who has predicted that we're going to win the Europa League, right? What could be the pivotal moment in us winning the Europa League will be that save from Areola.
Yeah.
You know? Imagine looking back at that and thinking that is the moment that turned that to
a watershed moment.
And that tackle from Lanzini in extra time as well.
Oh, fuck
yeah, that was a big tackle. That, and I thought the player was going to get back up and carry on, but it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So John thinks, John, you're supposed to be a party, mate. What are you doing here? 1 more year for Deck.
I love that John's at a birthday party. My wife is at a bachelorette party, and they're both tuning in.
Becky's staying according to Mike, but he's drunk. Bonnie Hammer, I'll keep Rice until the end of his contract. Yeah, that's the thing, right? But can a club like the size of West Ham afford to turn down 150, 200 million? Probably not.
But if you have a chance, if you have an opportunity to keep Declan Rice, I don't hear enough people talking about this. I don't know if Declan is that hell bent on leaving the club, if the club is willing to grow with him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not that sold on the idea that he's just going to go elsewhere to greener pastures. He might very well just end up staying and get a fucking statue outside of London Stadium.
Well, listen, right? If we were to win the Europa League this year and then qualify for the Champions League, Declan Rice is going nowhere next season, right? And then let's see what happens next season with a bit of investment. You know, it would be great to see that gradual, improvement, wouldn't it?
It's got to stop eventually. If the club
says we will win silverware, he will stay, and we will retire the number 6 shirt to convince him to sign.
I love you, Trosh. I love you, Trosh.
Retire the number 6 shirt, says Trosh. He's already a big club. Yes, I know he is. Massive club.
That's true. Massive.
We are.
we're massive.
Massive. He's captain and plays every game. He will win with us. Should be England captain now. Yes.
That I agree with.
Can you believe the other night he's fucking giving the captaincy to what's his name?
Oh, Sterling.
Sterling. He's giving the fucking captaincy to Sterling.
I was like that.
Incredible that he can run with the pace and play the
piano.
And
that really wound me up with what Southgate said. And I'm glad you picked up on it, Nick, as well, because to say he's got all the attributes to be a captain is a liberty. I know he didn't mean it in that context, but still, he didn't. What a silly thing to say.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Let's sit on Southgate for a minute before we move on, because the last bit is a preview anyway. So let's ponder on this for a minute. Right? Would you swap, Gary? Would you swap Southgate for Moyes?
What as England captain?
No. As a manager, would you
manager?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
How many clubs in the Premier League? How many clubs in the Premier League do you reckon would accept Southgate in exchange of their club manager?
Not one of them.
So why is he England manager? Why is he England manager?
Middlesbrough manager, isn't he?
I know.
What he is.
I know. It is weird. It's weird that he is England manager.
He's holding you guys back. I'm telling you, he's holding that squad back from
his in-game management is suspect. I'm telling you.
Nick, what is Stelios doing back on the chat? Is he back in country?
He must be.
Hello,
is he back? Is he back from Barcelona?
Barcelona. Nick, he's spot on. Well, don't tell him that.
Got to be right sometimes, isn't I? I'm always.
He needs to learn when to surge and when not to surge.
That'll come in time.
Surge.
Here we go. Just managed to get on when Nick yet again slates Thomas.
Good timing.
I wasn't slating him. I was just saying he weren't very good. Right, go on. He is good. He's a great player, Thomas Souček.
Yeah, I'm just looking, see if there's any more comments before we move on to the next section. Yeah, we agree with that. Declan's great holding midfield, and Thomas has scored the goals. Thomas. Anyway, enough of you still. Let's have a look. Any more? No, that's it for now.
Is that enough?
That's it for now. Go on, carry on.
What's this?
I'm just trying to turn that comment off.
Oh, look at him showing off. Look, the bloke with the chef. Look, what is it? I just realised we're going to be in the Maldives when the World Cup kicks off. Fuck off, Mike.
Yeah. Well done, Mike.
Yeah. I hope you have a good time. Right, okay. Should we move on?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, all right. We're on the home straight. These are long shows, Frankie. These are.
I'm all good, mate. All good.
This is so fun.
Danny loves it.
I really do.
Can't get enough of it.
I've got nobody to fucking talk to about West Ham. I'm 4,000 miles away, guys.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. All right, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Well, I didn't upload the thumbnail, so there are no thumbnails. So I'm just going to talk about it. Right, we move on to the big game at the weekend, and that's Everton. It's a 2:00 kickoff.
8 a.m. 8 a.m. here.
Yeah, is it real? That's not too bad though, is it? At least you ain't got to get up silly o'clock.
Yeah, at least I may not be drunk when it starts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. 2:00 kickoff. I think it's officiated by Michael Oliver, and it is on Sky Sports as well for those of you that haven't got tickets. And we're going up against Everton. You know, Frank Lampard's Everton. I think they're there for the taking. For me, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I haven't done too much research on them in terms of players they've got available. I know they're missing Allen because he got sent off in the Newcastle game, so he's not available.
Is he their captain?
I don't know who their captain is. I'm
think
not
it is.
too sure. Yeah, he's missing. Like I say, Everton at the moment they're kind of not at the moment. For the last few years, they've been shambolic, haven't they? You know, they really have. You know, they're kind of that. I don't know who buys the players. I don't know what the structure is at Everton. I don't know whether the manager is the coach and they've got someone else that just buys players in. I don't know how that works because they've spent a fortune in recent years, an absolute fortune. And they've got what I can only describe as a collection of misfits. And look, don't get me wrong, this could all backfire. We could get beat tomorrow, but I don't see it.
In recent years, I would have said that this would be a bogey game, but I'm sorry, we've not dropped that many points at home this season.
We haven't. I just don't see it from them. I think we're going to have way too much. We're way too organised. I don't think Frank Lampard is. I don't know who would be the right man for that job at the moment. It ain't Frank Lampard. I mean, Rafa Benitez.
It wasn't Rafa.
but that's a perfect example of how the club is run. I mean, why was he employed? I mean, rightly, look, he was always on a hiding to nothing at Everton. That was never going to work, was it? It was never going to work. They was never going to accept him.
No. Well, it was never going to work at Real Madrid either. But I don't know how that guy keeps getting work. I mean, I know he had his success in Liverpool, but
I don't think he's a terrible manager. But certainly at Everton, it was never going to. I mean, it was crazy. It was a crazy appointment. And like I say, they've been recruiting like mad. They've been spending money on average players. Like I say, like that crazy window that we had where we bought loads and loads of players. Well, not loads of players. We spent 100 million on average players. They've done that in consecutive windows. They've just kept on doing it and adding more and more and more. And I don't think they've got any fight in that squad. And like I say, when you look at the parallels, when you look at, say, David Moyes, when David Moyes took over a relegation threatened West Ham, he went out, he bought Thomas Souček, he bought a leader, a captain, a guy that could come in and set an example, an absolute beast on the pitch, a guy who trains like crazy and he kind of, he stepped things up a bit. Frank Lampard's gone out and bought Dele Alli in.
Moyes also brought in Jared Bowen. That's
Bowen as well. Yeah. But I think Souček was the one. I think Souček was. I think he was pivotal to us.
Yes.
I think when he came in, because don't forget, I don't think Bowen really played that much when he first came in, did he?
No, I know he scored a goal at home, and I think that was about it in that particular season before COVID. Yeah,
Gary's electric heaters just turned off. Look.
Getting a bit cold, getting a bit chilly in the shed.
Getting a bit cold. I just think they're a little bit. I think they're in trouble. I'm not saying that I think we're going to beat them tomorrow. No problem at all. I haven't got all of the games to hand at the moment, but I've been through them several times now. Everton, they've got to face. I know their next 3 games. They've got to face us away. 3 days later, they face Burnley away, who are basically in competition.
Hungry.
Who are hungry and in competition with them. I mean, if Burnley win that, they're 1 point behind them, and they'll be 11 on games. 11 on games played. So that is a struggle. And then you look at Everton, have then got to go 3 days after that they've got to play Man United, they've got to play Chelsea, they've got to play Leicester twice, they've got to play Liverpool, they've got to play Arsenal. The only other team in there that you might say, oh yeah, that's a winnable game is Brentford. That's it. The other one, you look at them and you think, shit, they're in trouble. I don't think anyone else has got a worse run-in than Everton at the moment. I think they're in trouble. And if your money is on anyone out of Frank Lampard and Sean Dyche, who are you going to put money on, seriously, to survive relegation?
Dyche every time, isn't
it? A team fighting for their absolute life is about as dangerous side as you can face at any time in the season, really.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you guys have seen the injury report for Everton.
Is it bad? Go on.
It's not that it's that bad. Tom Davies, he doesn't really get a lot of
he's a little shitty. He annoyed me when he played.
In the first place anyway. Jerry Mina, my compatriot.
Yeah.
Andros Townsend, knee, and Delph is. We still don't know what's up with him, but we don't know if he's even going to be available tomorrow.
Yeah,
but as far as I know, that their first choice center back is out.
That's good.
Captain's out.
Well, that's good. I mean, I must admit, I've not done too much research on Everton. I've not really given them that much credit.
I just looked this morning to get the extra goosies.
No, that's good. It's good. It's good that you've done that. I didn't know that. So look, and also they're.
Oh, what's that?
You sound like a robot. You went mute, Nick.
Nick, I think you just had a power surge in your house. You've gone on mute.
You sounded like fucking RoboCop.
Yeah. Nick, you're on mute.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. That's when I said, Alan. He's out as well, isn't he? Yeah. So like I say, I don't really know what Everton have got to offer. I don't look. They have got some good players. You can't dismiss it. They've got Calvert-Lewin, who is a striker that I would love. I would.
Same.
I know he's not for everyone. I'd love him. They've got Richarlison, who is a good player, you know. But then they've got these fucking other players who, if I say this, he'll probably score tomorrow. Iwobi. They've got these other players that have spent loads of money on, and they're just not that great. Who's the other one that they brought in on good? Look, he was a good signing at the start of the season. The one, Damari Gray.
Gray, number 7. I knew the name, or I knew.
They brought Gray in. He started off well. He's petered out. He's petered out into nothing again. You know, I just think they're a very, very odd team. And like I say, you look throughout the team now. If you look at their starting 11, I don't fear them anymore. I just don't fear them at all. I think Richarlison is their best player by a country mile. But he doesn't look happy at the moment. He looks, you know, he's got a constant fucking sulk on his face at the moment. So I don't really know what to expect. I mean, Frankie, what are your thoughts on Everton?
From the beginning of the season, I thought they was going to be a bit of a force to be reckoned with. I thought they was going to be a good team.
Yeah, well, Damari Gray and Townsend looked all right, didn't they, when they came in?
As well, because he bases his opinions on how much money they spend, and so he thought they were going to be brilliant. So
they got Townsend on a free, though. Yeah. They got Andros Townsend on a free.
That's what I mean. And Damari Gray, it was good business, really good business for them in the summer. I
thought they was really going to have a good season, and the wheels came off very, very quickly. And like I say, I don't. For me, the worry tomorrow isn't about Everton. It's about us and what we're going to do. And I just hope we come out. And I don't want us to be cagey. I don't want us to let them get a footing on the game. I think we need to come out sharp. I think we need to come out fast, put them on the back foot, and go. And if you get a goal, then it's game over. They'll fall apart. I just think that's it.
100%.
So that's what we got to do. We've got to go out and get that goal early doors, and then it'll be easy sailing from now. You know, the longer the game goes on without scoring, and you know, if we do that defensive thing we can do at times, then there's no question they've got good players in and about their team. So you know, they've had a bit of time to reflect. They've had the international break to sort themselves out and regroup a little bit. I just hope this isn't the game where they, you know, turn up a little bit and try and make something happen. But if I'm going to, you know, without all of that being considered, I think we win 3-1. I think we go and get an early goal, and then, you know, it's easy sailing from there.
That's where it should be. That's where it should be. I completely agree with you. What would you say, Danny? What's your predictions for tomorrow?
4-1.
You going 4-1?
And I'm not sure that we even concede a goal, but going off of what I'm pointing this way, but I'm reversed. So going off of what Frankie had just said, that he's more worried about us. So am I. We are going to be the only ones that can beat us tomorrow.
Yeah, good point.
We could be potentially our own biggest enemy tomorrow. I'm not worried about the opposition as far as they're not in a good run of form. They're not in a good place.
No.
Yes, they are fighting for their life. I had just said that, when they're about to play Burnley, there's not a scarier side to face than a side that's fighting for their absolute life. I could see them staying up based off of absolutely no analysis, but just because it's Everton, and I don't see them really going down. But they're not about to go into the London Stadium and walk out of there with even a fucking point. I just
don't think they are. I really don't. Look, I think, as Gary alluded to earlier on, I think pressure's off. I think, look, if we did finish 8th, it wouldn't be. We want European football next year, but the lowest we can really finish, if we're being honest, it is going to be 8th. That isn't a fucking disaster. I think we can afford to go out now. This is a money end of the season.
I think that's not a disaster.
I don't know. It's not a disaster.
I think it's a travesty.
It's not. It's
disappointing, but not so much a disaster.
I'll tell you what. At this stage, it's not a disaster because if you'd have been talking to me a few weeks ago before the Sevilla game, for instance, because nobody has moaned more about January than me, Frankie. I haven't stopped fucking going on about it. I was devastated. Yeah. I bored everyone to tears with it, right? And I think that for us not to invest in January was unforgivable. And we was already showing signs of how much we were struggling in December, how much we needed investment. We didn't do that in January, and then our form from January onwards was shit. But what happened was we were still getting results and grinding out results, but our performances were poor. But what happened is with that Sevilla game, the Sevilla game has given the second half of this season some meaning. So for me, this has been a successful season because of our Europa League campaign as well. I do think it's been a second consecutive good year. You can make comparisons with last year because last year we didn't have the European weight on our shoulders. So you can almost offset that. You can almost say, right, okay, well, if we finish 8th this year, but we go further in a European competition, we weren't in Europe last year, then it hasn't been. It won't. You're
not even in Europe.
I think Travis.
You're not even in Europe.
Who's that?
If you finish 8th, you say we probably
no.
in Europe.
No. Listen, I would be disappointed. I'm not saying I would be upset, and I would probably revert back to if we end up with no. Listen, it's going to happen. If at the end of the season we end up with no European football, we are all going to turn around and point at that January transfer window. We will. 100%. We will.
But if you go back to the beginning of the season, I looked at it and said, right, we've got a European campaign. We've got a tough Premier League campaign. We haven't, all right, down to the transfer market. What would be reasonable? And my response was 8th and some good cup runs.
Yeah.
And I think that is what has been delivered. And I think, to call it a travesty, I think I'll tell you what, to call it a travesty, you're basing that on the parameters that are available to us now, right? Because bad transfer window in January, you can blame the bad transfer window, but now.
Well, it is the bad transfer window in January. We didn't recruit.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the season, I can't revise my expectations for the season. I can only go back to what I expected at the beginning. And what I expected at the beginning was 8th because of the Europa League.
Yeah.
So personally, I wouldn't be disappointed with that, even though I would be, because I want, like you, Frankie, I want Europe in any form. It can be Conference League, it can be Europa League. I don't give a toss, right?
Just happy to be invited to the party.
Listen, Frankie. If you talk to me in 2 weeks' time, and we've been knocked out of the Europa League, and then if we get knocked out of the Europa League, and then we finish 8th, then you're going to be talking to a different Nick. But at the moment, where I'm sitting at the moment, I'm feeling quite positive. I'm okay, but I've not been positive.
I think you are though. Yeah, saying you haven't you don't reevaluate your expectations. I think you are entitled to do that halfway through the season. And I think being 4th halfway through the season, forget January. I don't care about January.
Yeah,
we're over January. What happened. We didn't make no signings. Deal with it. Boxing Day, losing to Southampton at home, bad result. Losing to Leeds at home, bad result. There was some poor results that we had.
Letting in a hat trick from a guy that was banging goals here in the United States. That's nothing to do
with the January transfer window. At the end of the day, I think if we don't get 7th at the very minimum from where we were halfway through the season, I think it's a travesty. I think it's terrible. I think from 4th to fall off the horse that much, even though we've progressed in Europa League, I would be gutted to not have European. I've had a taste of it. I've had a taste of European football.
Mate, I am. I am with you. I am with you. Stop dragging me down to the dark side.
I've
just come back.
It's not because we're still going to get it. We're still getting 7. We're still getting it.
The way I saw it wasn't a real fourth. The other teams had loads of games in hand on us, right? I wasn't seeing that as a real fourth. Yes,
they didn't. No, not in December. They didn't, Gary. No, we was in full. We was in fourth place.
Yeah,
on
that
merit.
was before they started rescheduling a bunch of shit.
We was in fourth place on merit. We was flying. The start of the season. No. Up to sort of the start of December, and then what happened? We got injuries. You know, Zuma went down. Bonner went down. We started then struggling, and the results that Frankie's talking about. We started getting. But they illustrated how much we needed to strengthen in January, and that is why I'm pissed off with January, Frankie, because he had a month to ascertain. Fuck, we need players. So that was
that's a full year. He already had his targets.
Yeah. You know. But anyway, look. Before we Gary, if you want to run through the comments, I'm going to throw up the
So words and pictures. That's your name on. You know, you got to shorten it. I'm just going to call you Words.
Who's that?
After Everton fans said they want to lose Man City and hurt Liverpool, I hope they go down. Words. I know you're a lurker, but you're smelling like a Liverpool fan. Right. Word says again, good work, well researched. I don't know what that means. Right. How many died building those stadiums? No, exactly. Terrible. I mean, you know, Qatari, those stadiums, those lovely air-conditioned stadiums that apparently are not air-conditioned, they were built with slave labor from India, pretty much, you know. Big Fat Frank going down. Lol. Yep. I think most died due to heat. Well, yeah, that's kind of part of getting someone to build a stadium in the heat, though, isn't it, Trudge? You know,
Brazil didn't exactly have a great humanitarian record whenever they last hosted.
I think it was basically, you know, immigrants from India who they brought across, right? Then they just work.
Working at height with no harness and PPE and stuff like that probably didn't help.
So predictions: we've got Trudge going 3-0 tomorrow. We've got a lot of optimism in here. Paul Evans going 4-0. 4-0.
This is rare to have at least the comment section this unified. It's like
I know Trudge is usually pessimistic, like Nick. Yeah. So to be fair, Nick's usually optimistic before a game and he's pessimistic after a game, right? Let's be positive by Black Country 3-0. God, there's a lot of big scores coming here after what Danny said and what Frankie said as well. What's 3-1 and 4-1? You said, right?
Yeah, I said 4-1. They'll get a late consolation goal.
Spot on. 8th is a disaster. Andy Dennis says.
It's a disaster. It's not a disaster.
Listen. I wouldn't be happy with it. But at the same time, I would.
I will say you are Gary. I am going to go off the rails if we do get dispatched from the Europa League and we end up not
off the fucking rails anyway.
I'm going to go off the fucking rails. Well, you know I will. I've only just come back on.
Yeah. We're keeping Nick in a safe place at the moment.
So, Nick, real quick, are you of the opinion that if you know everything that happened against Sevilla, that it means fuck all if we don't actually win the competition?
No, of course not. Look, they've given us memories. I'm not saying it won't mean fuck all, but I will be. Look, listen, we will always go back to saying what if. What if
we had spent money in January?
What if? Yeah, right. and the thing is, next year. Wait a minute. Next year. You've got to think. You've got Newcastle. We're going to be pushing more next year. There's other teams as well. This was a good opportunity this season, a really good opportunity to cement a second consecutive 6th place spot.
That we were serious about playing.
I don't think you don't get this very often where that there are so many teams not performing. You don't. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I may have unfairly judged Words because beating Sevilla put me in a dream. I'm hoping for Europe again, so must be a West Ham supporter. Welcome, Words. Welcome, Lurker.
Mr. Words.
Listen, we welcome anyone anyway. Yeah, anyone can
exactly. Emery going 4-1. God, there's a lot of optimism. Evening all says Trev Tube. I'm going 2-0 tomorrow. That is what I'm going for, Trev. 2-0. That's it. We're done with the comments.
Okay, right, last bit. So what we're going to do, which players are not available tomorrow, do we know?
For us?
Yeah.
Well, Moyes today had said he's not sure about Lanzini, he's not sure about Bowen.
So really?
I got a feeling Bowen might be on the bench tomorrow. You know,
Gary, he's not. Gary, he hasn't even trained. He ain't even trained with the first team yet.
No, yes,
that's what he was doing the other day, wasn't it?
Gary, that was a video. That was an April Fool's video that you saw. That was an old picture. Yeah, it was an old picture.
Sufal was training with the team today.
Right, okay.
I don't know if Bowen was though. I don't know. I don't think he'll be back, and I'm not sure Lanzini will.
All right. Well, who's going to? It's going to be Fabs in goal, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Fabs in goal. Is it going to be Dawson and Zuma?
Yep.
Yes.
Are you moving these pieces around or what?
No. I'm just selecting the squad first. So we're going Cresswell at left back.
Cressy, yeah.
Now, Nick, today are we doing what we want the lineup to be or what we think it'll be?
What we think it will be.
Okay. Because at this point, I want to give Ariola more of a run with the team. But...
I do as well. I think he'll get that. He'll get that next year. He'll get that. Next year,
he needs to get his extended contract.
Yeah,
eventually get the number 1 shirt. That's Fab's long-term replacement.
Sorry, one special mention for Mike. He says we will louse.
D-louse. You want to D-louse, Mike? Yeah. Right. Okay. I think Johnson's irrespective of Kufel being fit or not. Johnson should hold his place down at right back. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Central midfield is obviously going to be those two. I think Lanzini's going to start. He walked away unscathed from that accident.
He was sore as recently as 10 hours ago.
He's fine.
The car turned over. You know, the car turned over.
Yeah, but that's not probably
he plays.
You don't reckon he plays?
I don't think he starts.
Lanzini's fucking crazy. Yeah, he'll start. Whatever.
Well, look, I'll stick him. We can put him on the bench. So, who's going to play number 10? And if let's anticipate, he's not going to play. Fornell's number 10.
Yes.
Benny number 10. Who's that? Fornell's number 10, and we're going to go Antonio up front. Is Bowen's not available? Is that Benny? Look, let's just throw them on.
Yeah. Benny's getting started these days, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay.
That's a hell of a formation, Nick. That's a bold strategy.
It is. I sorted it out quickly. Don't worry. Right. So we've got Zuma plays on the left side, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dalton on the right. So we're going to go Johnson right back. Yarmo can go over there for a minute. Cresswell left back.
Yeah.
We'll go Souček on the right.
Make sure he's further forward than Rice.
Yeah. I will stay back here. Look, that's it. That's it.
Now, as you had it initially when it was all like a clusterfuck mosh pit formation, I'm wondering if that's how Mike will see this anyway, regardless of whether
he will. He's going to be confused. Yes. Mike's confused. Right.
Mike's confused.
Well, let's go Fornell's in the middle, in the middle in front of them two.
So you reckon Manu's not going to be ready, no?
There's no way Manu can be in a car accident like that and come out.
He's from Buenos Aires, Gary.
Yeah, like I said, no, he is fucking crazy. I could very well see him starting tomorrow.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah.
All right, put Lanzini in then. Let's have a vote. I don't think so. I think Fornell's.
I heard Lanzini got out and headbutted the tree afterwards. That's what he did. Right. So, Ben Rama's obviously going to start somewhere and be ineffective. Which side of the pitch is he going to be ineffective on?
He's been playing on the right, hasn't he? And Fornell's have been playing on the left. And Lanzini.
I don't like that, but yeah, that's probably how it's going to go.
Oh God, makes me cry. Just before we go, because before we move on, can you just give me your thoughts on Benny? What are your thoughts on Benny, Frankie? We don't know.
I think, regardless of what he is as a player, I think he clearly isn't a Moyes player, and I think they don't mix, and I think that will mean that he'll never meet his full potential at West Ham. I think, he used to have that bit of magic when he used to play for Brentford. I think you can tell he's got the reins fully put on him. Yeah. But he looks scared to even have a shot now. I'm not for one second thinking he's.
I do agree with you on that. I do agree with you.
Do you know what I mean? But I think Moyes has tried to make him something that just ain't him. I think he used to try shots, try crazy through balls, make things happen. I think he looks scared to express himself on the pitch now, and I think he's held back quite a lot. I think his confidence is not where it should be, and because of that, I don't think he will ever quite work out. And I think because of that, what I hope we do with him is before we ruin a player to the point that they're not worth anymore, like we did with Hilaire and like we did with Anderson, sell him now while he's still got a bit of value.
What would you do with him, matey boy? Because we'll talk about him next. But Vlasic, because we all saw the story from the Croatia head coach who came out and said Vlasic
needs to be playing to get his spot.
He needs to be playing to get his spot back. He's spoken to Vlasic. He's not. It's not that he's not happy, but he wants football next year because he wants to go to the World Cup. So he's willing. He's willing to move to get that. Do you think that Vlasic is going to be a first team player next year?
No.
I mean, if Lingard comes in, Ben Rama's out and all. I mean, that's the thing. I personally think if you look at this, I think the back four is fine. I mean, Cresswell does need upgrading because he's getting older. But Rice and Souček, you're going to struggle to find a better midfield partnership than that. Even if you got Lanzini in there, Lanzini's superb. That triangle has been brilliant for the last few games. But that top third, that final third, it needs. I love Fornals is fine. Bowen's good. I don't know. I just think that I think in the Premier League, you need better players than Vlasic and Benrahma in those positions. They're the money positions. You need players that can actually do it. I don't know whether they can. I don't.
I think Antonio's form has suffered because of them players in and around him.
He ain't getting the same service. He's not. But also, I think he's suffering because he's fucked.
He's played every minute possible.
He's never played too many games.
He's tired. Give him a minute.
Tired. He's tired. So I think he's. I don't think Antonio is. Wait, look, he's not the problem anyway. It's not Antonio's fault that we've only got one striker. I don't think it's that. Do you know what? I'm gonna throw a curveball tomorrow. I think Yarmolenko is going to be fit. I would like to see Yarmolenko in the
number 10 role.
I'd rather him lined up as a center forward, like or right behind the striker, than I would
in a free role because he looked good. Yes, because you can tell when Moyes has sent him on recently. For obvious reasons, he's just gone on and given him a cuddle and said, "Go and have a good time, Yarmo." No, he's just said, "Go." Can we send him
out in a yellow shirt?
Yeah, but you know what? Yarmolenko is most effective in a free role where he's intelligent. He can drift into space. He's probably one of our most technically gifted players. I think if you stick him out on the right to do a job, he ain't going to do it. He's going to be shit. He's going to be rubbish. But if you just basically tell him to have a bit of fun, because he is a fun footballer. He's all flicks and tricks and shit like that. And he is clever. I don't think he's a bad option to have in now. I don't think he is at all.
No, I think he could do that job. He could do that job.
So I'm not saying that he is going to be there, but I do think that Yarmolenko could feature. I do tomorrow.
I think he would be second in line though, behind Fornals. I think Fornals would be going in there before him.
So who's going in the middle? Who would you play?
I think what you do is you put Fornals in the number 10 position. You'd probably put Vlasic on the left-hand side, and you put or Benrahma on the left and Vlasic on the right.
Why would you play Vlasic in front of Yarmolenko? Vlasic has had game time this year. But Vlasic offers fuck all, Gary. He does.
No,
he hasn't this season. I really want him to succeed, and we all look. He's adopted. He's always busy. Yeah, but Gary, he's always busy. He runs about a lot. He runs about a lot, but there's nothing there.
And he's getting played out of position though, Vlasic.
I've seen him have two single halves. I can't remember what the second one was, but the first one was away to Spurs in the League Cup, where I thought he looked really good in the first half.
Yeah, he looked sharp.
When you say really good, what does really good mean?
Well, he was very, very busy and helped
make
a goal for Bowen, and he looked genuinely alive and very pacey, and he was playing in the right position. What I'd like to see with Vlasic, because I think we've touched on this in the past couple of weeks, defensive responsibilities come first in a Moyes team. I think you're gonna make the best out of someone like Vlasic. I think you kind of try to play him in a role where you can set him free and say, go and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, but you're never going to have that in a Moyes, unless you're someone special like a Lingard. Unless you're like a Lingard who is double special going forward, he gets privilege. You'll give him a free run because you know that Lingard in the same, it does mean goals. It means goals. So you'll give him that kind of grace of being able to do what he wants. But very few players like Benrahma, he can't defend for toffee, but he's got to defend. Because
we're predicting a team. We're predicting a team. Apparently, Vlasic's best position is the number 10 role. So if you were going to play him in his strongest position, he would be where Fornals is, right there.
I agree with that.
And
he has been played out of position a lot.
This needs to happen. He was a number 10 when he used to play for his former club. But I think I would be very scared tomorrow with Yarmolenko. I think playing Yarmolenko in that role is how we lose tomorrow, because I think teams worked out that if they only because, and the only reason I say this is because teams worked out with us, if they can overrun us in midfield with 3 in midfield. When we didn't have Lanzini in there, and it's all come together recently, we started to get overrun in midfield a few games, and teams would stick 3 in the middle, and we'd really struggle. And I think Yarmolenko won't work hard enough to help out.
See, you're right, because Lanzini does do a job in the middle as well, doesn't he?
And that's why I think the only player that could do that tomorrow is Vlasic. And
Fornals probably can as well.
Yeah,
real quick, fellas, was Vlasic? Did he play in the number 10 role at Everton as well?
No, on the wing. He was a winger.
Yeah, on the wing. Yeah.
Badly on the wing.
But he didn't play well.
Ineffective there. Obviously, didn't have a very long tenure. Not a memorable tenure.
No.
He was
I think down the middle. That's how I would set up tomorrow. I'd keep it like that. That would be how I'd play it.
Yeah.
Actually, the way it looks like, I still see a 4-1 happening.
I'm looking at that team now, and I'm sorry, that is still a sexy team, even though it isn't our best team. And do you know what? You have got perhaps Yarmolenko. The best way to use him is off the bench.
Yeah, definitely.
He provides explosion,
and he would come on for Vlasic and switch it up in that spark. 20 minutes.
Yeah. Right. So we happy with that lineup? Do we think that's what it's going to be?
I think that's looking good.
Right. Okay.
I think that's what it is. If Lanzini don't play, and I think if Lanzini is in, he just comes in for Vlasic. I think that's it.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Well, do you know what? I am with you, Gary and Frankie. I am keen to see. I know he said himself that he is number 10. I'm keen to see him played central. The issue that we've got we've got 4 number 10s, Lanzini, Fornals, Ben Rama, Vlasic. They're all number 10s, really.
Yeah. We don't have an out-and-out winger, do we?
No, we don't.
We don't have one.
It's a problem. Not someone with raw pace, a pacey winger.
We don't. Gary, do you want to go?
Masuaku?
Yeah, Arthur.
Yeah, he's brilliant. In the chat. I'll tell you, if Stell's still watching, he loves Masuaku.
He does. Well, go on, Gary. Go through the last few comments and then we'll close.
So, Bonner is training. Best news. Well, yeah, absolutely brilliant news that he's back in training. I don't know if he's training or if he's doing a bit of physio. But Robo Nick, that was a noise you made earlier, Nick.
Right.
The opportunity missed to bring in players does hurt me too, says Trev Tube, because the big clubs around us are in turmoil. So it was a chance to take over the others around us to progress long term. Well, at least short term, definitely. Left back in the changing rooms. I don't know what you're referring to there, Sean. Sorry if I'm out of order on the comments.
That last comment brings up a good point. Right. Yeah, we may not see the full repercussions of the inactivity in the January transfer window.
Yeah,
until this is all said and done.
Yeah. Right. Okay. January window, defining moment. If not for us, if we don't make Europe for a season or two, says Andy Dennis. Yeah, agreed. 4 nails in Lanzini. Yeah, that's the easy change, I think. Peter Jones says, yeah, I wouldn't personally blame it on Moyes. He hasn't control over the, I'm sure, push rings or purse strings or negotiations. What else? Andy Dennis says, I think it was Moyes. Yeah, look, it's open to interpretation, isn't it? He can only give them a list or the idea of players. This seems a conversation between Andy and Peter that sort of me and Nick have, where he's blaming Moyes and I'm saying, no, it's all right. It's the other bloke, it's Newman. Trev Tube says, if Benny had more pace, he'd move up a bracket in terms of quality. Yeah, he's missing that lightning pace.
He's got decent pace, but decent pace on the ball, though.
Decent pace, but it's kind of, you know what I mean? It's not exceptional pace.
It's not game-changing. No.
I am sorry, I'm digressing a bit. I bet you fucking Gerrard's getting some flack over that today, the 2-1 loss at Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gerrard is getting... I read some comments earlier from Villa fans, and they say every game, because they've lost 3 in a row, and if you look at his stats, he's been there 10 games. He's won 4, lost 5, drawn 1, right? And every game that he loses or draws, he comes out and he says, the players weren't at it today. And it's like the 3rd game running, he's said it, and they're going, fucking stop saying that. Stop saying that. Because if the players ain't at it, it's your fault.
It's your job to galvanize those guys and get the group ready, set them up for success.
Yeah. Right, we've got. This is going to be the quickest ever Premier League predictor, anyway. So we'll go to Frankie for West Ham, or should we give Frankie Tottenham? Frankie, you know the rules about Tottenham, didn't you?
Yeah, give me one of the other ones.
I'll
take Tottenham.
Tottenham they never win, right? Okay,
no, I know that.
That's fine. Right. So Gary, go on. You go for West Ham.
2-0.
2-0. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take
Keep
that.
it real.
Right, Frankie, come on. You know the rules.
I'm going to go 3-2 Newcastle.
Yes.
Hey!
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do a shot for that too.
8-2 Newcastle. There we go. Right. Right, Danny, go on. Let's go. Right, Danny, go on.
Palace aren't going to beat Arsenal. It's
I don't know.
This is a 1-1. This is a 1-1.
I don't know. That's a tough.
I was going to say 2-0 to Arsenal, but
Palace did
I
well.
don't know.
Palace did
It's
well.
at Palace.
They did well.
Fucking stupid song they've got, haven't they?
Fuck, I'd love to see Arsenal drop all 3 points.
Vieira's going to upset their top 4 push, mate.
That's
right. All right, let me turn on the silly sauce for this.
Yeah.
In a playing the long game for
you've
revenge.
Influenced Danny. Look,
Palace are probably still going to fucking lose 2-0 though.
You reckon nil to? Oh, right,
I really think that's what's going to happen though.
I don't like Arsenal or Tottenham, but I fucking hate Tottenham. So I'd rather Arsenal finish top 4 than Tottenham.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
And that 8-2 defeat it's not going to do their goal difference any good at all.
I don't know. I think the Nigels could intimidate Arsenal tomorrow, don't you think?
I hope so. But look, I don't want Tottenham to gain ground. I don't want them to get top 4. That'd be crushing.
Nah, fuck that.
Right. Oh, look!
Hey.
Look at that.
Fifth.
Even with Arsenal winning, but that would almost cement their place in the top 4.
Fuck me. We're 5th. Look at that. That's good.
Let's go through and exhaust the comments, right? So, Freshfielder Sean says, do you fellas have any plans on doing transfer-themed shows in future?
Yes.
New shows are a fantastic addition, proper quality. Thank you, Sean. Very kind of you. So
Nick, on a footnote of that, I've got a list of transfer targets.
Yeah, so we'll be doing.
You can help out on them, Danny.
I would be more than happy.
Every week. Yeah. I'll be doing Tuesday. Nick will be doing Thursday. When Johnny's fit to do his show, he'll be doing it on Wednesday.
He's already fit. He's fit and raring to go. He's in Italy next week, isn't he? He's going to. He's taking his boy for a trip to Italy to watch Bologna.
Yeah, but he's back tomorrow night for the Hangover show. Yeah. But when he's free, which will be the week after next, so we'll be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think that's going to morph into transfer shows in the summer once we're out of the season.
Yeah, we will do them, mate. We will do them.
But we will do special transfer shows as well. We try to not overdo it, like
we'll talk about loads of players that we're not going to sign. That's what we're going to do.
What we did in the last transfer window is we never reviewed the same player twice. Where's Nick gone? Right. They wouldn't let Moyes get his hands on that gravy money, would they? Says Peter. Probably not. Right. Vlasic should be given a chance in his best position, number 10. Yep. Yeah. And Garino says being moved around and given a few minutes here and there does nothing for his confidence. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. He needs to have some faith put in him. Put Vlasic in the middle. Ben Ram on the left, Fornals on the right. That is how I would try it. Vlasic and Cresswell, that side is weak. Well, it's weaker than Fornals on that side. Yeah. I'd rather go with that if Lanzini is out. Yeah. Is Bowen out? I think so. Would be nice.
More than likely he won't. I mean, he might feature off the bench or something, make a cameo late in the match, but I really don't see him starting.
Words has got all personal by saying the zip is pulled up on the green hoodie. It must be cold. Yeah, it is cold, Words. It is. Peter must apologise about spelling. It's atrocious. It's unforgivable, Peter. Yeah, there's no. Listen, you can be as drunk as you like, but there's no excuse for bad spelling or grammar. Right?
There's no excuse, Peter. There is no excuse for bad.
You must have true discipline.
Fancy Newcastle to Dick something. Yeah, so away to Spurs, right? Magpies are good at nicking things. Yep, good point. Well made, Trudge. No,
I have not answered this. This is a good question.
Yes.
Go on, Danny.
How do I feel about the World Cup draw? Now, if you had asked me that question anytime in the last, 6-7 years, I would say
Reno's being spiteful, I think.
We would be fucking ecstatic to nick a draw in the group stages against England. I mean, everybody remembers when the U.S. won 1-1 against England in the World Cup.
1956.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. I will say this: England, at least in my lifetime, have consistently had the best or among the best talent pool of players on the fucking planet. What they don't usually have is the best manager on the planet. If there's anything that's going to hold you guys back from taking all 3 points when you guys play the U.S. On Black Friday here, day after Thanksgiving, it's going to be Gareth Southgate, and it's going to come down to squad selection and his tactics on the day of the match. But as things stand, we won't lose to the US. Draw. I'm not as nervous as I would have been in years past. I really believe that the pendulum could swing in either direction.
Danny, I'm just going to say something. If you're a West Ham fan and you're kind of English as well, so you can support England. So you can do that. It's fine.
I'm gonna buy a 3 Lions kit when I'm over there in 20
Good man.
days.
And Declan Rice is going to be there as well.
What's that?
Declan Rice is going to be there as well.
So, because Colombia didn't make it, and that's obviously, I carry them in my left titty. I follow them first, but I don't take for granted that I was born and raised here in the States, and I love that. I don't take for granted that the U.S. qualified, but my heart is still with West Ham, and I'm gonna cheer for whatever national side has any of our players representing us. So
just imagine this though: Gareth Southgate in the baking hot sun of Qatar. It's England against the USA in the decider to see who goes through and qualifies from the group. Very close game. Gareth Southgate wipes his sodden brow, and looks over at the other dugout, and he sees Ted Lasso.
So I actually have not even started watching that show.
I'll tell you what, Danny, how do you reckon that Craig Dawson is going to cope with the heat over there? Do you think he's going to be all right?
Yeah, true.
Well, because Craig Dawson's going to get the call up. I think he'll do all right.
Yeah,
I think he'll do all right. I mean, I can already see him lifting the trophy a la Bobby Moore style. Hey, the last time that England won the World Cup was at 66, and that was a West Ham captain, an England captain, correct?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
So
exactly.
If Southgate is going to listen to anybody, listen to this right now. You give that captain's armband to Declan Rice.
You need 3 players. There's got to be 3 West Ham players there.
Yeah, Rice, Bowen.
Yeah, and Dawson or we'll have to pick one.
I would really say Ben Johnson.
Albert Lewin when he comes to us.
I don't know if Ben Johnson wouldn't be ready. I'd be okay with him.
Every single available right back gets injured, and Glenn Johnson finds himself in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All the dominoes will line right up. It's all coming together. Here we go. No, I'm very excited about the World Cup.
Oh, look, now Lingard. That's the 3rd.
Yeah, because he could be ours by then, right? He could be ours by then. Yeah.
There you go. Written in the stars. It's got to happen. Look, listen, if you've got too many Spurs players in there, it goes Spursy. We've seen it before. Trippier, Kane. We need Kane to get injured. You got to get. He's got to get injured for a start.
I will say this about the Euro. If you had told me, despite being a West Ham fan, that the 2 best players in a Euro final would be 2 fucking midfielders from West Ham and Leeds, I would have thought you were smoking the shit I smoke.
Yeah. Legally smoking, Danny. Legally smoking.
Of course, legally, yes.
Legally smoking, yeah.
Land of the free, dude.
That's it. Right, okay. Well, I think that's about it. I've got to say, Danny, you've been magnificent as always. You've been brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. And I think if you're available, you're going to be on tomorrow as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Can't get enough. He loves it.
I'm getting up so early that I don't know if I'll be day drinking, but
you will be.
I'll probably be drunk.
You'll be day drinking. You'll be day drinking. And Frankie, thank you so much, mate. You come on late notice, very very late notice. It's been lovely to meet you and talk to you, mate. You've been a star. You're gonna have to come back on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure, chaps, and I've really, really enjoyed it. So anytime, just drop me a message and I'll be on.
We'll do.
And I just wanted to say hi to Kieran there. He just said hello. He used to be a regular visitor when I was over on my channel, and it's good to see him.
Good stuff. So.
Yeah. Frankie, if you would let's connect here on the social media and send me all of that stuff. I'd love to meet you in person when I'm there in just under a month. So
yeah,
Danny's going to have a busy few weeks. He's going to have a busy few weeks. I'm taking him to Borough Market, aren't I, Danny? We're going to go over there.
So I'm trying to sign I'm looking for a liver that I can sign on loan for when I'm over there.
Good stuff. Right. Okay, Gary, go on. Do you want to close out?
Yeah, I will. So thanks all for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks to everyone who contributed to the very, very busy chat.
Been good,
Thank
yeah.
God John's
really
coming
good.
back tomorrow night because he does that because he can multitask. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon. We'll be back tomorrow night at 8 for the Hangover, where we'll talk about West Ham's magnificent win against Everton. And then we'll see you for the early morning shows on Tuesday and Thursday this week before the Booze Up next Saturday again. It's going to be Saturday.
Is John back tomorrow?
He is back tomorrow, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
The resurgence of John. All right, so until then, thank you for watching. See you soon, and come on, you Irons.
Yeah, you Irons.